Mild with sunshine mixing with some clouds, high 53. Tonight, mostly cloudy and mild with a brief shower or two, low 47. Mostly cloudy with a shower tomorrow, high of 60. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently in Chicago, 44 degrees, winds out of the south, and 11. Next news update, 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by attorney John DeWatt, an attorney with heart at thinkingoutsidetheboxlaw.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy.
Good morning. You look very nice today.
Oh, thank you.
I look like I've dressed as if I've given up on life, and you look nice. The three-piece suit there.
Yeah, thank you.
A
Yes.
two-piece would be interesting.
Well, it would be standard.
True.
Yeah.
But if
Through
anybody's
the vest,
watching,
and that makes it the third piece.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we've had this conversation before.
Yes.
The three-piece suit still mystifies you, the
Yeah,
concept.
it does. It's just a lot going on over there, but it looks nice. Hey, how was the movie? Didn't you go see?
I did. I saw a screening of Big Short.
Yeah.
Big Short last night, thanks to our friends at Truth in Accounting. And excellent.
Really?
Really, really good. Did you read the book? The
Yes,
Michael Lewis book?
yes.
Yeah. So it did a great job. I mean,
Was it to the script of the book? I mean,
No.
did it follow the same premise?
Yeah, it was close.
Obviously.
It was close. Certainly same premise, and it was close. But Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling, Brad Pitt, it was all very good.
Oh, God, I can't
Yeah,
wait. I watched
no.
the Dolly Parton story, and I cried. It was on NBC. It was a
hey.
made-for-TV movie called The Coats of My Jacket. And it was a story about her life growing up in the hills of Tennessee.
What did that have to do with the housing market? Oh,
The-
she didn't own a home.
No, they had a log cabin.
Yeah.
And they actually had 8 brothers and sisters, and they all slept in the same bed and worked the tobacco fields, and it just showed how she evolved as a singer. And she started out with God in the church. Her grandpa was a pastor.
What was it? The family got a ninja loan for that log cabin? Is that how it connects to the Big Short?
No, I'm just saying you were watching The Big Short while I was watching my favorite person in the world, Dolly Parton.
Yeah, I mean,
I love. I'm going to go to Dollywood.
For people who like, well, what's the difference between you and Amy? I think you just summed it up in one sentence. I was watching The Big Short while you were watching, Dolly Parton and The Hills Have Eyes or whatever.
The Coats of My Mother.
Yes, that's what I meant. Yeah,
It was a really good film.
and you cried.
Well, Ricky Schroeder played her father, and I have to tell you, he is really a strong actor. And Jennifer
The
Nettles
Ricker
played
from Silver
Yeah,
Spoons
he was really good.
played her father
He played Dolly Parton's father
as when she was young.
in the movie, and Jennifer Nettles played her mother, and she's an amazing actress.
What I saw
Who knew?
I saw the preview. What about wasn't Gerald McRaney in it?
Yeah, that was her father or her grandfather who was a pastor.
Remember Major Dad, the show Major
Oh
Dad?
yeah. He was really good.
Oh.
Yeah, and he's also in House of Cards. We talked about the same thing. Yeah.
Interesting.
He's
so
a strong actor too. It was cast very well.
did it?
And I cried and laughed and still upset.
Did it culminate with the breast implants, or what was the
No, I have to tell you,
denouement?
those things are real.
What?
Those are real. She was busty even when she was 5.
Oh, that's just what is wrong with you?
No, those are real. There's nothing fake about Dolly Parton. Mm-mm.
No,
She's my favorite.
No,
It
she
always
said-
has been since I was a little girl.
that's kind of breaking news. No
Uh-huh.
work done.
No work. And those nails, those are real too. And those eyelashes, those are real. She hasn't had any work done.
Huh.
All real.
Well, that's a great review. Now I don't have to go on Yelp to get the download on the Dolly
Hulu.
Parton film. Donald Trump in the news.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he's still in the news. He was on the O'Reilly Factor yesterday, and I'm actually, speaking of my sartorial splendor this morning,
Mhm.
I'm going to a Christmas party luncheon where
Yeah.
Bill O'Reilly is the featured speaker today.
Oh, my gosh.
So he'll
I
be
mean, I can't believe I am surrounded by such greatness right now.
Well, no, I wasn't suggesting that to brag. I'm suggesting that I'm preparing to hear Bill O'Reilly spin yards over my house salad. But
Where's the party?
It's the Inland Real Estate annual Christmas
Oh,
party
yeah.
out in scenic DuPage County.
So you're just here in between parties. I'm sure you had a showing last night.
Well,
screening of a movie. Now you have a big Bill O'Reilly function.
Obviously,
tita. Look at Dan Brunt.
Well, look, I mean, a man of my stature in the community. I mean, what do you expect?
Drivers outside just waiting for the show to be over to whisk you away.
Yeah, well, so Donald, speaking of that, I mean, the parallel lives Donald Trump and I are leading. This is interesting. Colorado ACLU leader, the American Civil Liberties Union, calls for the death of Trump fans.
The death of Trump fans? Please. I don't want my dad to die.
I love my dad.
I love my dad.
I love my dad. I'd kill for him. I'd go to prison for him because I love him so much.
Jeb may be the assassin she has in mind. I'm not sure. That may be the only way he has to climb in the polls. Start eliminating the competition. Loring Werbel, who's the co-chair of the ACLU Colorado chapter, said, quote, "This is Goebbels. This is the final solution. If you are voting for him, I will have to shoot you before Election Day." Now, I think that Mr. Werbel may want to re-examine the mission statement of the ACLU. I think there's a disconnect there.
It's violent rhetoric, and he could be arrested for that, don't you think?
If he was in England, she could be banned.
He could be on the hate creatures list.
Yeah. Trump, and ironically, Werbel, remember, he's the co-chair of the ACLU in Colorado. Trump should go to jail for hate speech.
And then he turns around and says that? Can you say it one more time? What's he going to do? Shoot?
This is Goebbels, referring to Trump. This is the final solution. If you are voting for him, I will just have to shoot you before Election Day.
Oh, nice.
And, oh, by the way, Trump should go to jail for hate speech. Really, he's having a hard time
coming to grips with this?
Well, reconciling his views with the Constitution. Apparently, that's out the window with the ACLU when it's inconvenient. Well, we knew that to be true, particularly in matters of religious freedom. But that was interesting. Here's something else just in terms of the fear of Trump. The fear of Trump in the establishment, inside the Beltway, in the chattering classes, is rivaling the fear of terrorism in the body politic. The New York Times poll out yesterday, CBS New York Times poll, Americans are more fearful about the likelihood of another terrorist attack, more so than at any other time since the weeks after 9/11. A month ago, only 4% of Americans said terrorism was the most important problem. Now, almost 20% say it is, above any other issue. And you'll note that as that issue has risen in terms of chief concerns of American citizens, Donald Trump has seen a bump in his numbers.
Yeah, the latest CBS poll, he's up 35%. I mean, every terrorist attack that happens, his numbers go up. And I don't see that stopping anytime soon. You know, when I went recently to Missouri and to Arizona, I talked to people. One was a Ben Carson fan, another Jeb Bush fan. I said, you guys need to start realizing that Donald Trump is more than likely going to win the GOP nomination. Like, no. And I said, I'm just letting you know, if the polling goes if it goes as it's polling, he's going to win.
Well, it's a long way from that, but I agree with you. The way we discussed it earlier this week with Carl Cannon at Real Clear Politics, right now, could anyone legitimately say any other individual candidate has a better chance to be the nominee than Trump? Now, collectively, as the field winnows down over the course of the first quarter of next year, could you make a case that there's a more compelling pathway for Marco Rubio or Ted Cruz to the nomination than for Trump because of his high floor but low ceiling? You could make that case. But right now, just one-on-one matchups, could you say anyone is more likely to be the nominee than Trump? I think you have a hard time arguing that. By the way, if you want to know which of your friends is a Trump supporter, there's a way to find out.
Do they have a Make America Great hat?
No, that's one way. There's also a new website, friendswholiketrump.com.
This sounds like a dating website.
Yeah, this is
like I'll meet you in the park.
This is like an algorithm on Facebook. If you're logged into Facebook, you can open it. You can do your friendswholiketrump.com. Go to that, and there's a way to zero in on all of your friends who have liked Donald Trump on Facebook.
Oh, I see.
So you can organize them by their liking of the Trump Facebook page.
Oh.
And then you can decide what to do with them. For example, this will allow the ACLU leader in Colorado to put together his hit list, for example. Isn't that nice?
Oh, that's right. You could just look at that and get all the names and find out their information.
So Donald Trump was...
Did he get fired for saying that, or suspended or reprimanded in any way?
Not that has been reported to this point. Yeah, that's... So it's so fascinating. The unhinged, overheated, bigoted, fascist rhetoric of Donald Trump, so say many of his opponents, like probably this ACLU Colorado chapter president. And what's the response? To out-Trump Trump. And the irony completely lost on people. It's always fascinating. Trump on with the O'Reilly, and the O'Reilly factor. Yesterday, would you do a third party? He comments.
I think that I will get the delegates. I'm winning in Iowa big. I'm winning in South Carolina. I'm winning in New Hampshire big. If I'm treated fairly, I would never do it. If I'm not treated fairly, I might very well do it.
All right. If you do
frankly, my deal was I have to be treated fairly.
All right.
Well, who knows? But my deal was I have to be treated fairly.
So we're back to that. We're back to where we were about 3 months ago, with kind of, or maybe even 6 months deeper in the past than that. Yeah, where he's the treated fairly thing because he's under siege. I don't really think he's going to do an independent candidacy regardless of outcome. Who knows? He's a mercurial sort. Who knows what will motivate Trump to make whatever decision.
Mercurial sort. That was the name of my high school band.
Really?
I like that. Yeah. Uh-huh.
It is a good band.
One of them. I was on many bands.
It's a good band name, Mercurial Sort. But I think this is just him sending a shot across the bow of the establishment, trying to dull the blade a little bit, whipping up his base.
Well, he's got to act like the victim in order to keep this campaign strategy going. I mean, he's got to keep reinventing himself. First, it was Mexicans are racist. Then it was Senator John McCain's really not a war hero, even though he was a POW for 7 years. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. But that's how he stays relevant.
That's like 15 outlandish things ago.
I know, but now he's coming back full circle and being the victim and maybe dabbling with the idea of a third party.
Well, I mean, I think he's, juxtaposing himself against the establishment, which he went on to say at O'Reilly, I was a part of 5 minutes ago before I became a candidate, which is a fair point, frankly. And I think it's, smart political positioning. Ted Cruz was on with Morning Joe, and I know you didn't see that because nobody watches Morning Joe. But he was on.
I watch you, Dan, in the mornings. I don't need Joe Scarborough. I have Dan Proft.
That's right. Well said. He was on, and, he's tired of having to do these interviews where the entire interviewer is consumed with reviews of Donald Trump.
Listen, I get that the media wants us to play theater critics and critique every other proposal. What I'm focusing on are my own policy proposals. Right. So I've introduced legislation that would impose a 3-year moratorium on refugees from countries where Al-Qaeda or ISIS control a substantial amount of territory. And the reason is simple. The FBI, Obama's own head of the FBI, James Comey, told Congress that this administration cannot vet the refugees to determine if they're ISIS
So it's not religious-based. Not based on the religion, it's based on the territory.
It's based on protecting us.
Now, that sounds like a mature plan.
Right. That's
a well-thought-out plan rather than just barking, ban Muslims.
Right.
Mexicans are racist.
That's why nobody's paying attention to it, because it's well thought out. Chuck in Delavan, Wisconsin.
How you doing? This is Chuck from Delavan.
Yeah.
Hey, out in Colorado, those guys out there, when they hunt elk, they can usually shoot about 600 yards. They can hit an apple. That's not a really smart statement for somebody out there in Colorado to be making about anybody.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Chuck. I suspect those guys that are the sharpshooters in Colorado not otherwise philosophically aligned with the chapter head of the ACLU there.
Yeah, but quickly, I wanted you to late last night, Ted Cruz did an interview, and for the first time, he actually questions Donald Trump and his ability to lead.
Who is prepared to be a commander-in-chief? Who understands the threats we face? Who am I comfortable having their finger on the button?
Yeah, I think that's Ted Cruz talking about Ted Cruz.
Hear about the big stories of the day then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Here's your forecast for this weekend. It's going to be mild today. Sunshine, some high clouds, 54 degrees for our high. And tonight, we're going to have a brief shower. And on Saturday, mostly cloudy with a shower or two. Temperatures tying the record from what year, Dan? This year, it's 1877. Do you remember where you were in 1877?
Yeah, I was going west in the Conestoga wagon.
Yeah, that's right. Well, today, tomorrow, we could break that record. 61 degrees and for Sunday's Bears game. Record warmth yet again, 62 degrees for a high, and we'll have periods of rain. Let's get the travel times this Friday morning. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Good morning. Well, traffic is a little heavier than it was back in the Hayes administration. Things are pretty light, though, for the most part on the area expressways. A little heavy on the inbound Stevenson from State Street to Lakeshore Drive with that ongoing construction there. The inbound Ryan has a 2-minute delay from 18th into downtown. Bishop Ford, about a 2-minute delay approaching the Rhine. There's still a fair amount of road work on the Tri-State Tollway in both directions, south of O'Hare. No delays there right now. If you're in the Des Plaines area tonight, you will have a lot of traffic there. The Virgin of Guadalupe celebrations kick into gear this evening. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Got to do with where choo-choo go.
Hey, if you need to sell your home in Chicagoland, Sean Hannity here with some very important facts that you need to know. Now, 40% of homes hitting the market in Chicago are not selling. Now, those are horrible odds. You need to call Saul Z and the Z team based right here in Chicagoland. Now, Saul sells a home on average every 24 hours and attracts hundreds of buyers every month locally, nationally, and internationally. The Wall Street Journal ranks Saul's team in the top 110 teams out of 1.2 million agents in the U.S. Now, Saul Z guarantees to sell your home in 29 days at a price and deadline that you agree to, or he will buy your home or he'll sell it for free. Plus, working with Saul is also risk-free. After 24 hours, if he's not doing his job, you can walk away free and clear. Just call the agent I would call if I needed to sell my home and lived in Chicagoland. Call Saul now at 888-346-0666. That's 888-346-0666. Or go online at callsaul.net. That's callsaul.net.
The holidays are just around the corner, and you want your home to feel warm and inviting so that you can create a memorable experience. Before you start decorating for the season, call Executive Green Carpet Cleaning at 708-599-5151. There's still time to have your carpet, upholstery, tile, and grout cleaned before those special dinner guests arrive. Executive Green Carpet Cleaning's process is safe for your entire family. They use their own purified water and a non-toxic solution that leaves no residue, so you can rest assured you'll have a clean carpet when the kids and grandkids exchange their gifts. Want one of the best gifts this holiday season? It's Executive Green's no-risk guarantee. If you are not 100% satisfied, you will not pay for your service. Make your home beautiful for the holidays by scheduling now at 708-599-5151. Ask about their holiday special, 3 rooms for $139. 708-599-5151 or schedule online at executivegreencarpetcleaning.com.
This is Sam Gilberto, president of American Embroidery and Screen Printing and American Marketing Products. We specialize in putting your logo on just about anything. Our focus is entirely on you, our customer. We want every customer experience to be outstanding. American Embroidery and Screen Printing is a brick-and-mortar business located in Glendale Heights. Our equipment and manufacturing processes are state-of-the-art, so are the people who work here. With over 40 years' experience, we have the capability, capacity, and know-how to get your job done right and on time. I want to earn your business, so for a limited time, we're offering free artwork on embroidery and screen printing orders for all new customers. Let us help you gear up for that big trade show, provide shirts or jackets for all your employees, students, or church members, or simply provide you with giveaway items such as coffee mugs, pens, or hats. Whatever it is, you can trust an American to take care of it. It's easy to contact us. TrustInAmerican.com. That's TrustInAmerican.com, or call at 630-766-2825.
AM 560, The Answer.
'Tis the season for giving, and we here at AM 560, The Answer, have teamed up with Feed the Children for our 7th year. Can you believe it? And our goal this year is to feed 18,000 children in and around the Chicago area this year. We're asking for a one-time donation of $76 that will help feed 16 hungry children. To do that, it just takes a few minutes. Operators are standing by. 866-435-2248 is the number. I made a donation of $100 the other day. Thanks, Dan.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
I made it on behalf of you, and you can do that. Make a donation on behalf of your well-fed children or grandchildren this holiday season. And there's also another way to help.
Yeah, well, I mean, find a guy in a three-piece suit, ask him for $100, and then give the $100 to feed the children. That's what Amy did. Just follow the model.
It's brilliant.
Rinse and repeat. So the other way, in addition to what Amy described, the other way to participate is through our Business Benefactor Program. This is the program where any business that makes a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to feed the children receives 40 60-second commercials that will run Monday through Friday, prime broadcasting hours, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. on these airwaves, AM 560, The Answer. All you do to enroll in this program, in addition to having a generous soul, is call sales manager Michael Mann directly at 847-871-1527. Again, 847-871-1527. Just ask Michael Mann, our sales manager, about the Business Benefactor Program. He'll get you signed up and included, or you can just simply text the word FEED to 64636. That's our turnkey.pro text line, same one you use for the show, and you'll be prompted to enroll.
And you're going to want to be a part of this. Slots are filling up quickly. We want to say thank you to Heartstrings. I'm wearing their locket right now. Love it. Patient MD, Tallgrass Restoration, just to name a few. Call Michael Mann right now, 847-871-1527. 847-871-1527.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
So do you think a politician can fix Illinois' problems? Me either. That's why I invested and I opened a real estate company in South Florida. Real wealth comes from real estate. I'm Sean Thompson. My company is Liberty Real Estate Services, and it's time to invest in a personal real estate portfolio that will secure your future. With Liberty Real Estate, we'll help you buy those properties, and most importantly, we'll help you manage those properties once they've been acquired. Financial independence can only be achieved when you've broken down the market like I have. Nobody wants to rent your 401k, but many want to rent your house. Real wealth comes from real estate with Liberty Real Estate Services. Call me right now at 630-323-4376. That number again is 630-323-4376, or visit the website at libertyrealestateservices.com for information you'll need to get real financial freedom and control your destiny. 630-323-4376 or libertyrealestateservices.com.
Liberty Real Estate Services, LLC. Illinois license number 481011303. Florida license ID BK3339363.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago, it keeps becoming more fascinating every single minute. The latest on the San Bernardino attack.
Yeah, at 5:35, could it have been prevented? A Department of Homeland Security whistleblower tells Megyn Kelly yes.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say good morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Government funding expires tonight at midnight when the last short-term spending bill runs out. GOP House Speaker Paul Ryan optimistic a full budget deal will get done.
We're not going to get everything we want in negotiations. The Democrats aren't going to get everything they want in negotiations. But I believe that we will successfully complete these negotiations.
The Senate agreed by voice vote and without debate to extend the deadline to continue negotiations through Wednesday, December 16. The House expected to follow suit later today. Forecasters say heavy rains that cause flooding and mudslides in parts of Washington state are starting to ease up. But the rain
he deserted his post willfully and purposely. He left on his own accord.
Oregon, and a rain-soaked hillside collapsed north of Portland this week, leaving thousands of motorists stranded on either side of that collapse on that main highway connecting Oregon and Washington. Federal government has begun collecting facial and eye scans of foreigners entering the U.S. at a busy border crossing with Mexico. It's step one of an ambitious effort to track those who
the more
stay
information
in the
that people have about Sergeant Bergdahl, his motivation,
President
the
Obama
better.
says he is analyzing recommendations for possible executive actions on gun purchases.
The administration intentionally violated the law by not informing Congress and misleading Congress about these negotiations.
Common sense.
Like I would wake up not even remembering.
Meantime, a small lake in San Bernardino, California is being searched as part of the investigation into last week's mass terror shooting. 4 are dead after a medical helicopter crashes. Heavy rainfall in central California. The Skyline Air Ambulance had a pilot, a nurse, a paramedic, and a patient on board. Family members of a black teen fatally shot by a white.
It's not the first, second, or third. I've been to numerous, and it's not going to stop till we get justice.
Says
As long as it takes, I'm out here. And I need my son name cleared. They threw my son under the bus, so I'm throwing Anita Alvarez under the bus and Ronnie Manuel under the bus.
The park testing exams last year than ever before. And these guys from this city, fan favorite for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Officials announcing yesterday that the band won the 2016 fan vote. Chicago getting over 23% of that vote, beating out Yes, who came in second with a little more than 16%.
No, so getting Mayor Rahm Emanuel to resign is definitely not the main goal of the movement right now. So in Chicago, police receive 40% of our city's budget to remain operational. That is completely unheard of and unacceptable. One of our major demands is that police be defunded and that money used to fund police be used to fund black futures and be used to fund our communities and things that we need.
Against drunk driving. Call their 24-hour victim helpline.
The network of individuals that we work with were tied. Therefore, two things very plausibly would have happened. Either Syed would have been put on the no-fly list because...
My wife, Helene, she knows me better than anybody on this planet. Ask her anything.
I think that...
I just have one.
So you would vote for him as an independent?
Yes, I would.
Why?
No. You know what?
I like his ideas. It's the same ideas as I have.
Calm me down half the time.
I didn't want to put him under pressure, number one. I also did it because I'm in the midst of a very powerful campaign.
Donald Trump's decision to cancel or at least indefinitely postpone his trip to Israel is being greeted here with a sigh of relief. His visit would have placed us in a difficult
ultimately
position.
Ultimately, the decision is who has the right judgment, experience, and judgment to serve as commander-in-chief.
He realizes that he has investments in Muslim countries.
So you would vote for him as
College Illinois 529 prepaid tuition locks in tuition at today's plan rates to help secure your child's future. Purchase now and enjoy 2015 plan prices before they increase on January 1st. Enroll now at collegeillinois.org.
This announcement is for all people who look their best this holiday season using clinically proven Power Swabs. Power Swabs whitens teeth with a patented tooth detergent and whitening agent. It's so effective, we challenge you to try it for 5 minutes and guarantee your friends and family will be amazed when they see your new white smile this holiday. Get it risk-free. Dial 1-800-663-1490. That's 1-800-663-1490. 1-800-663-1490.
5:35 in our Chicago RadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Stevenson, traffic is now stop and go from Cermak to Lakeshore Drive. 37 minutes from 355 to the drive. Outbound, it's fine at 34. Edens, Kennedy, and Eisenhower are still delay-free. Inbound Ryan heavy from the Stevenson into downtown Chicago. About a 5-minute delay there. And the ramp from the inbound Ryan to the inbound Stevenson is jammed as well because of that Stevenson delay. On Bishop Ford, just a 1-minute delay, Cottage Grove to the merge. The other expressways and tollways look pretty good. There is some road work on the tri-state in both directions, between 190 and 290, but no significant delays. Traffic is a service of Stand Up to Cancer. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. A mild day ahead, sunshine mixing with clouds. 54 today, 49 overnight with a shower. Cloudy with a shower tomorrow with a high of 61. And break out the shorts for Sunday with a high of 67. Currently 43. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
So, Dan and Amy, has been the case with each day since the San Bernardino terrorist attack, new information is unearthed and, importantly, shared with the public. That's a good thing.
Can I do the pedestrian thing first?
Which is the pedestrian thing?
Enrique Marquez.
Yes, what about him?
He apparently was married to one of Farouk's family members, of somebody else through marriage. Apparently his mom never knew he was married. He lived in her home, never knew he was married because it was another arranged marriage, if you know what I mean. And also, they had no idea that he owned guns or bought guns for anybody. They had no idea he even converted to Islam.
Okay. That's one.
And he's apparently cooperating with the FBI. That's what they...
Because he's going to be facing federal gun charges, it was reported.
At the very least.
Right.
So they said he's talking now, so that's good.
That's a good idea for him.
Yeah.
And it's a good idea for us, and it's a good idea that the FBI uses the live assets that we have to extract information about collaborators and co-conspirators, not just San Bernardino, but more generally. Also, Tashfeen, the female terrorist killer in San Bernardino, she attempted, it's reported by Fox News and other outlets, she attempted to contact extremist groups like Nusra Front, which is the Al-Qaeda-affiliated terrorist group that's in Syria, but was unsuccessful. So now they're unearthing efforts to actually communicate formally with terrorist organizations, most specifically Nusra Front, and most relevant because, of course, they're based in Syria. In addition to that, though, the question of, it always goes to events like this, is how could it have been prevented? President Obama thinks that you can prevent this stuff by putting people who aren't buying guns on the no-fly, or aren't, by putting people on the no-fly list, even though
they're not buying guns.
Yeah, and I mean, just ban guns. Just wave a magic wand. So that's the administration's position on how to prevent this. Philip Haney, who is a former Department of Homeland Security agent, was on with Megyn Kelly and said that the investigation he was conducting into fundamentalist Islamic groups operating in the U.S. may have helped stop the San Bernardino terrorist attack if the government hadn't shut down his investigation. He opened an investigation into a Sunni Islamic group called Tabligh Jamaat, which is a subset of the Deobandi movement. It included, his investigation included focusing in on a mosque, Dar al-Ulum, which is the mosque that the male terrorist murderer attended.
In San Bernardino.
Right. Okay. And here is...
and we heard from them earlier. Remember, their homes were raided. The imam at that mosque, his house was raided and FBI pointed a gun in his face and he was all indignant about that. Remember him?
Yes. And but let's hear what Mr. Haney has to say. It talks first about the investigation, and then he talks about two things that perhaps could have occurred were the investigation allowed to continue. Haney has since been separated from the Department of Homeland Security. He's a whistleblower. So just kind of keep that in context. Here's Philip Haney.
The network of individuals that we worked with were tied to a large group called Tabligh Jamaat, part of a larger group called Deobandi. We had thousands of organizations or individuals in the database, and we tracked them as they moved in and out of the United States on the visa waiver program. That's what first brought the group to our attention. And as we developed the case and started putting the pieces in place, we gained more and more evidence of their activities.
And they were connected to Farouk's mosque?
The Farouk Mosque is called Dar al-Ulum. It's a global network of similar kinds of mosques under the umbrella of this organization.
And so if his investigation would have been allowed to continue, here's two things Haney suggests might have occurred that would have prevented what happened in San Bernardino.
Therefore, two things very plausibly would have happened. Either Syed would have been put on the no-fly list because of association with that masjid, and/or the K-1 visa that his wife was given may have been denied because of his affiliation with a known organization.
It's interesting. I certainly don't know the details. I'm taking Philip Haney's word. But here's something else he said. So the obvious question, well, why was his investigation quashed if he's making progress and you're identifying groups that are involved in terrorist plots? He said the Office for Civil Rights and Civil Liberties within the Department of Homeland Security quashed his probe because the federal government did not want to profile Islamic groups.
Oh.
Now you know what is
Political
feeding.
correctness.
Now you know what's feeding not just the fear of terrorism, but the fear that this regime is not interested in doing what is necessary to combat terrorism within the confines of the Constitution. And so when Trump makes the statements that he makes, you start to understand why they have such appeal.
Yeah, because he doesn't care about political correctness.
Well, that's right. And there's also a story out that the Obama administration, in the wake of the San Bernardino terrorist attack, wanted to dull the blade on connecting it to Islam and Islamic terror.
Oh, were they going to call it workplace violence?
Well,
because that's a possibility.
They don't like to use those terms. Radical
Even though
Islamic
she had
terror.
on her full garb when she went to the shooting range and wore that all the time. This isn't Islamic terrorism.
Jonah Goldberg, our friend from National Review Online, he asked a good question about the Obama administration's messaging on this. He writes, the Obama administration often warns that insulting Islam, burning the Quran, drawing the Prophet Muhammad, etc., can invite a terrorist backlash and help Islamists win new recruits. Question: if Islamic terrorism has nothing to do with Islam, why would insulting Islam invite more terrorism? Right.
Well, that's what my Democratic ladies say. They said, do you know what the number one recruiting tool for ISIS is? Excuse me. And I said, oh, Twitter, social media. They said, no, they watch Fox News, and that inspires them. They watch the people at Fox News saying over and over again that ISIS is winning, and that is a recruiting tool for them to get more people.
How many of your lobotomized leftist friends have a background in intelligence? A little play on words there.
Thank you.
How many of them are intelligence officers, senior law enforcement officers with counterterrorism training?
You know what? I haven't checked out their resumes, but I doubt that any of them have that on their resumes.
And have them answer the Jonah Goldberg question, because if saying Islamic terrorism is not, if this is none of it's connected to Islam, then why would insulting Islam, even doing things I wouldn't do, I wouldn't burn the Quran or some of this other stuff. There's no need for that. But doing so, why would they be insulted if it has nothing to do with their religion? Let's pause for thought. On the flip side, because we want to profile this, we want to extend the conversation, not just demagogue it, as unfortunately some conservatives do. There's a good piece in the Wall Street Journal by a Muslim named Karam Dara. He's an attorney. He writes, the piece is entitled, "Our Duty as American Muslims." He writes, after San Bernardino, American Muslims have come to terms with an ever more apparent truth that we and our mainstream Muslim brethren are the only ones who can lead a winning fight against the radicalism crippling our faith. The radicalism crippling our faith. He doesn't mention Fox News. You may want to read this to your lady friends.
Can I take a copy home?
Sure. Yeah, take a copy home. I assume they don't read.
They read, Dan, please. But they just read. They interpret things differently than I do.
Well, I'm not talking about like C-Spot Run. I'm talking about like
Dick and Jane.
Yeah. I'm talking about something a little bit higher brow, beyond a fourth grade level. He goes on to write, Mr. Dara, it isn't enough to condemn radicalism. We must actively engage in counter-extremism messaging. We must build an intellectual and theological case against radicalism. Our religious leaders must educate and warn our youth about the dangers of searching for spiritual guidance on the internet. And we have to be vigilant. When someone stops coming to mosque and disappears from a community abruptly after marrying a Pakistani woman in Saudi Arabia whom he met online, it shouldn't take 2 years and 35 Americans getting shot before we notice. Is he a right-wing extremist, Mr. Dara? Is that what he is? Amy's lady friends in Lakeview and the lobotomized Obama regime.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Well, plenty of warm weather. We're going to have a string of warm days here. 54 for a high today. Tonight, a chance of a brief shower. On Saturday, mostly cloudy with a shower. The temperature tying the record from 1877. We could hit a high of 61 degrees. And on Sunday, even warmer, 67 degrees in the southern suburbs. with a chance of a passing shower. Travel times, here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Good morning. Inbound Stevenson, it's slow Pulaski to Kedzie and then jammed Cermak to Lakeshore Drive. There's usually a bit of a delay in this area due to the ongoing construction there, but right now it's really packed solid, starting around Cermak. 45 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, and most of that delay is from Cermak to the drive, so you might consider exiting sooner. Because of this, the inbound Ryan ramp to the inbound Stevenson is jammed as well, so consider another alternate, Cermak or 18th perhaps. The Ryan runs 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, now 21 minutes, 80-94 to the Ryan. Only slight slow pockets of anything else, anywhere else. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
You've heard me talking about the new website, upstream-ideas.com. If you haven't checked it out yet, then you're missing thoughtful expository content you won't find anywhere else from those who've operated in the political and policy arenas. Each week, you can watch the latest episode of Against the Current. That's our long-form interview series with policymakers and opinion leaders. This week, with Bethany McLean, the author of Shaky Ground, a book about the housing market, where it stands 7 years after the bubble burst. Perfect timing with the movie Big Short coming out. You want to check out what Bethany McLean has to say. She also wrote the book Smartest Guys in the Room about the Enron collapse. Very, very sharp individual. You can also watch Illinois by the Numbers, our video series that breaks down Illinois one number at a time to explain what the policy challenges are, why we have them, and what we can do about them. And you can check out highlights from each Sunday's Illinois Rising, which tackles state and local politics and policy with deep thinkers from the Illinois Policy Institute and Illinois Opportunity Project. At Upstream Ideas, questions are asked that don't get asked anywhere else. Points of view are heard that are not heard anywhere else. No sacred cows, no punches pulled. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
Holiday parties come in all shapes and sizes. Elegant plated dinners, festive cocktail hours, casual buffets, themed events, and more.
Tasty Catering is already decked out with the holiday spirit, featuring a brand new holiday catering menu and a team of event planners who are eager to help you experience a successful party of any kind.
So much more than amazing holiday catering, Tasty Catering has been helping companies plan their entire holiday parties from start to finish for decades. Tasty Catering is a Chicago holiday tradition.
Your event can be exactly what you envisioned. All you need to do is visit tastycatering.com or call Tasty Catering at 847-593-2000 and tell them your event date.
A planner will ask you about your holiday party goals and then help you reach them as simply and stress-free as possible.
tastycatering.com. Start your holiday planning with a company that Chicago trusts. Tasty Catering, 847-593-2000.
Tasty Catering is a Chicago holiday tradition. 847-593-2000.
It's easy to take your commercial HVAC system for granted. It's always there, keeping your building comfortably warm or cool. Until you have a system failure. With another unforgiving Chicago winter just around the corner, now's the time to have a comprehensive review of your mechanical HVAC system. And you don't want just anyone. You want Air Comfort, Chicagoland's leading mechanical professionals. For over 80 years, Air Comfort has delivered its customers the best trained and highly skilled team of award-winning technicians. That's why Air Comfort is recognized as Star Certified by the MSCA, a designation achieved by only 2% of contractors nationwide. With a service fleet of more than 80 fully equipped vehicles, chances are that an Air Comfort technician is nearby. Schedule your system check by calling now, 708-345-1900. That's 708-345-1900 or online at aircomfort.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
You better watch out. You better not cry.
Oh, it's that time of year again when we team up with Feed the Children to help the less fortunate in our community. You know, Feed the Children, I love them because what's raised here stays here. And I've actually been to some of the food pantries and shelters where they provide food for those in need. And to see the look on the kids' faces when they get their box of food, when the moms get their sundry items in a box, it really makes it all worth it. That's why I donate every year to Feed the Children. It takes literally 2 to 3 minutes. Call this number, 866-435-2248, and make a donation. We're asking for $76, but you can donate more. If you have only 20 extra bucks this holiday season, $20 is fine. Again, that number, 866-435-2248.
We're trying to feed 18,000 children in the Chicagoland area through this holiday campaign. And we can't do that without generous business benefactors. Thankfully, we have many, many of them. Get to that list in a minute. But the Business Benefactor Program works like this. Any business that makes a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Feed the Children will receive 40 60-second commercials that will run Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. on these airwaves, AM 560 The Answer. All you need to do to get involved, to get enrolled, to take advantage of the Business Benefactor Program is call Sales Manager Michael Mann directly at 847-871-1527. Again, his number, 847-871-1527. Just ask Michael Mann about the Business Benefactor Program. He'll get you signed up straight away, or you can simply text the word FEED to our turnkey.pro text line of 64636, and you'll be prompted to sign up, as so many businesses have.
Yeah, the list keeps growing and growing, and if you're thinking about it, if you're on the fence wondering, well, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, well, today is the time to act. Slots are filling up quickly. We have Inspire Realty Partners signed up, Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates, Tall Grass Restoration, Heartstrings, just to name a few. So if you're a small business owner, if you make the marketing decisions for your company, you're going to want to do this. Nowhere else in Chicago radio could you receive for $2,500 40 60-second commercials that run primetime Monday through Friday right here on AM 560 The Answer. And commercials are so valuable. I mean, this station is growing. Our show is getting bigger than ever. People coming over from other stations. So you're going to want to advertise here, especially in 2016. People are going to be, we're the only station talking about the elections all day long and talking politics all day, every day. So call Michael Mann right now. Do it today. 847-871-1527. You can help the needy as well as help your business get noticed. You'll expand your customer base. You can take your business to the next level. Call Michael Mann. He's sitting in his office. He's waiting for the phone to ring. 847-871-1527. That's 847-871-1527. And we thank you in advance for your generosity.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, more than ever, choosing a real estate agent to sell your home is one of the most important decisions you can make.
I'm Ed Lukasik Jr., owner of RE/MAX Professionals. I know what it takes to sell your home.
The Wall Street Journal ranked Ed at 88th in the entire country for closed listings.
I know that there's no gimmick to selling your home, just a strategic marketing plan and the confidence needed to make your transaction successful.
Chicago Agent Magazine recognized Ed as the #1 rank in Will County.
You can hire anybody to list your house, but you'll need the local market knowledge that I have to sell it.
When Ed saw market trends change, he was ready and promptly received a RE/MAX of Northern Illinois Trendsetter Award.
Sure, it takes awards, but it also takes a lot of effort. So why would you try to sell your home with a we'll sell your house or buy it from you kind of agent? If an agent has to promise to buy your listing, then something's seriously wrong.
Call Ed Lukasik Jr. of RE/MAX Professionals, 630-679-5454. That's 630-679-5454. Sell your house with the professionals, RE/MAX Professionals.
I was just mentioning Turnkey as it pertains to the Feed the Children campaign, and for a long time, Turnkey IT has been providing solutions to AM 560 business owners. It's a name that you have come to know and trust. Turnkey IT takes care of your technology and has a plan that fits your company's IT budget and network needs. Interested in moving some of or all of your business to the cloud? Turnkey IT can migrate your network to Microsoft's Office 365. Need someone to call when you can't print, have a lost file, or need tech support? Turnkey IT's got you covered. Offsite backup? Check. On-site support? Check. Help desk support? Check. Turnkey IT staff is professional, friendly, punctual, and will solve all of your technical problems immediately and work even after normal business hours, all for a fixed monthly rate.
Hey, I'm going to their Christmas party tonight. Did you get invited to Turnkey.pro's Christmas party? Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah. Who's the big shot in the room now?
Wow. You just Turnkey IT'd me. Turnkey IT. Well, I'm not even going to read the rest of this now. No, I shouldn't.
Go to your fancy Bill O'Reilly
Why don't you read
function.
it with your fancy friends? Turnkey IT. Turnkey IT knows your network is truly the heartbeat of your company.
So getting Mayor Rahm Emanuel to resign is definitely not the main goal of the movement right now. So in Chicago, police receive 40% of our city's budget to remain operational. That is completely unheard of and unacceptable. One of our major demands is
going to host the party Sunday, December 20th. Get to Austin's Fuel Room in Libertyville for the Ron Hawking Christmas Show and celebrate Frank's 100th birthday. See this amazing singer and impressionist while you swing through musical highlights of a man once dubbed the most popular entertainer of the 20th century. And if that isn't enough, Rat Pack flashbacks will accent this amazing festivity. Tickets for the Ron Hawking Christmas Show and anniversary celebration start at $35, and you can also go VIP Frank style for $75. So book your Sunday night 6:30 on December 20th at Austin's Fuel Room in Libertyville. Call 847-549-1972 for tickets or visit fuelroom.com. That's 847-549-1972 or fuelroom.com.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Call Quicken Loans now to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. And for 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the second year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
Are you embarrassed by your tired old blinds? When you think about replacing them, do you feel overwhelmed? Then go to Blinds.com, the world's #1 online blind store. There's a huge selection right at your fingertips. You can watch helpful videos or get a free design consultation. And they have brand new offers each week. So go to Blinds.com, replace those old blinds, and hold your head up high, America. Go to Blinds.com or call 888-4BLINDS. That's 888-4-BLINDS. Call or go to Blinds.com today.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Bo Bergdahl wants to star in a new franchise, The Bourne Desertion. We'll have that at 6:06.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're watching right now. The search begins for a new Chicago police superintendent. Presidential candidate Ben Carson weighs in on the Laquan McDonald shooting. Fewer students taking the Park exam last school year in the state of Illinois. And an Illinois billionaire weighs in on the presidential race. Bulls get a win, edging the Clippers. And WIND Chicago News Time this cloudy morning is 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Here we go again. Congress is on deadline with government funding set to expire at midnight. Fox's Jared Halpern live at the Capitol.
The midnight deadline will come and go without a broad spending bill. Instead, lawmakers are buying some more time, extending government funding into next week.
This is something I more or less inherited from the last regime, and I don't want to rush things through here. I want to get it right.
House Speaker Paul Ryan is not negotiating in public, but the stalemate centers on policy riders, Republicans looking to ease EPA rules and lift a ban on crude oil exports. Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi is demanding action on gun violence. Dave.
Jared, Connecticut's governor is going to sign an executive order to ban people on federal terror watch lists from buying guns. The NRA says those lists sometimes include innocent Americans by mistake. President Obama may soon issue his own executive order to expand background checks.
And we can do all of that without undermining the constitutional rights of law-abiding Americans. Then why wouldn't we do it?
White House spokesman Josh Earnest. Donald Trump says if he's elected president,
anybody killing a police officer, death penalty. It's going to happen, okay?
The Republican frontrunner was just endorsed by a New England police union. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton is taking aim at Trump.
This latest demand that we not let Muslims into our country really plays right into the hands of the terrorists.
The Democrat on NBC's Late Night with Seth Meyers. Trump's support in a Fox poll in South Carolina actually rose after he called for that ban. Bo Bergdahl breaks his silence. The Army soldier who left his base in Afghanistan and then was captured by the Taliban says he was on a mission, telling the Serial podcast he wanted to be like Jason Bourne.
All those guys out there who go to the movies and watch those movies, they all want to be that, but I wanted to prove that I was that.
Instead, he was caught, then years later freed in a controversial swap with 5 Guantanamo prisoners. He's facing desertion charges. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Partly cloudy skies this morning, 44 degrees, 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Family members of a black teen fatally shot by a white Chicago police officer are expected to speak publicly today. The pastor of Chicago's Grace Memorial Baptist Church has planned a news conference with the Laquan McDonald family. Republican presidential candidate Ben Carson called the police shooting of Laquan McDonald despicable and a failure of government. Carson speaking after a closed-door meeting with pastors Thursday in Chicago.
That represents a failure of government, and everybody loses in a situation like that. The community loses, the state loses, the nation loses. We simply cannot condone this kind of activity. We cannot sweep it under the rug.
Carson stopped short of calling for Mayor Rahm Emanuel to resign.
20 minutes out, I'm going.
One of the richest men in the country is putting his betting money on Marco Rubio's presidential campaign. Ken Griffin has already given money to support Scott Walker in the past. He's backed Democrat
the more
Mayor
information
Rahm
that people
Emanuel,
have about Sergeant
Governor
Bergdahl, his motivation,
the
administration intentionally violated the law by not informing Congress and
focused on the agency that investigates police misconduct, as AM 560's David Stewart reports.
During the trial of Commander Glenn Evans, his attorneys tried to portray the Independent Police Review Authority as inept and biased. The former head of IPRA testified that Evans kept that gun for days before it could be swabbed for a DNA test, which showed that suspect Ricky Williams had come into contact with it. And when IPRA put together a photo lineup for Williams to view, it used an out-of-date photo of Evans taken before he began shaving his head. A judge will rule on Evans's guilt Monday, but the case could also provide data for the upcoming investigations of police discipline procedures. David Stewart, Chicago.
Fewer students in Illinois
he deserted his
standardized exams. The Tribune saying many more students than last year opted out of the PARCC test. The majority of students who didn't take the exam live in suburban Chicago. Chicago sports. Clippers fell to the Bulls 83-80. Pau Gasol 24 points inside for the Bulls. National Hockey League action last night. Nashville over the Blackhawks 5-1. Patrick Kane did score, extending his franchise record point streak to 24 games. The news, a service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Mothers Against Drunk Driving supports victims of drunk driving, drug driving, and underage drinking at no charge. Call our 24-hour victim helpline, 877-MAD-HELP or mad.org. 6:04, time to have Air Comfort check your building's mechanical system, and a check of traffic and weather is next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity wants the president to take action.
His whole presidency has involved the distortion of words. And if the choice is between believing what Obama said last night versus the previous, 7 years of his presidency, I'm going with the 7 years of his presidency. He didn't announce any major initiative to take on ISIS.
The Sean Hannity Show, afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Antiques, collectibles, vintage, and more. The Antique Market is this weekend at the Lake County Fairgrounds, Grays Lake. Saturday 10 to 5, Sunday 9 to 3. ZircoPromotions.com.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
For 30 years, we've been making people happy with incredible deals and service.
We're the best Ford Lincoln dealers in town.
Because making people happy makes us happy.
No doubt. This is one happy place.
Heck, we just break into dance all the time.
We don't break into dance at the dealership.
Sure we do.
No, we really don't.
We could. Come on, Marty, dance with me.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Admit it.
Okay, you're a lovely dancer.
Thank you. This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
6:06 in our Chicago RadioDeals.com traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Traffic is heavy on the inbound Stevenson first from Central to Kedzie. Then it is jammed from the Ryan to Lakeshore Drive. Overnight road work very late in clearing there. There's still some ongoing work in place. It's a mess. 47 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. 37 from the Tri-State. Outbound it's delay-free. Because of that, the ramp from the inbound Ryan to the inbound Stevenson is backed up. So the Ryan has delays from 35th into downtown. It's also heavy 95th to 79th. It's 27 minutes, 95th to the Loop. The Edens is fine. Kennedy is 21 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. The Eisenhower, 34 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Traffic is a service of Let Us Entertain You. Give the gift that fits all appetites. A Let Us Entertain You gift card. Receive a free $25 holiday bonus for every $100.
Like I would wake up not even remembering.
Simply
I was
visit
trying to
the
prove to the world I am like
Traffic answers. Where do you need them most? I'm Jim Talamonte.
The more information that people have.
Chicago's
The administration
morning answer
intentionally
continues
violated
next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
A mix of sun and some clouds today with patchy fog, a high 53, then a mostly cloudy night with a brief shower or two, along with patchy fog, a low 47. Tomorrow, patchy fog continuing, otherwise mostly cloudy with a shower, high of 60. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
43 at O'Hare, 47 along Chicago's lakefront, and clearing skies at the moment. Next news at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Aging Info Radio. Heard Sunday mornings at 9, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Breaking news tonight in Chicago. New police protests closed part of the loop for a time tonight. Protesters shut down streets to dramatize their demand for the ouster of Mayor Rahm Emanuel and State's Attorney Anita Alvarez.
The more information that people have about Sergeant Bergdahl, his motivation, the better.
20 minutes out, I'm going, good grief, I'm in over my head. Suddenly, it really starts to sink in that I really did something bad.
The administration intentionally violated the law by not informing Congress and misleading Congress about these negotiations.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. What is up? Well,
so we finally have an answer in the Bo Bergdahl case.
My ire is up after Bo Bergdahl broke his silence. And let's just remember who Bo Bergdahl is before we get to what he said during his interview in Serial, the Serial podcast. Let's remember who Bo Bergdahl is, not just the deserter who was exchanged by the regime for 5 senior Taliban terrorist leaders.
Who allegedly are still under supervision in Qatar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
They're at that all-inclusive golf resort.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
being monitored closely, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Just like the Yemeni or the terrorist that was released from Gitmo, who's now a terrorist leader for Al Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula in Yemen. We reported that yesterday. But let's remember a lot of focus on the Taliban 5. I want to focus on the Bergdahl 6. Those were the 6 members of his platoon who lost their lives searching for Bo Bergdahl after he deserted his unit, who we don't know what would have happened to them, but we know that but for Bergdahl's desertion, they wouldn't have been in the places they were in when they were killed in battle. Remember the Bergdahl 6 as much as we focus on the Taliban 5, and let's listen to what some of his platoon mates had to say about Bo Bergdahl.
He deserted his post willfully and purposely.
He left on his own accord. He was attempting to contact the Taliban on his own accord.
He didn't want to be found, and so we were chasing a ghost around eastern Afghanistan for at least 90 days immediately following his disappearance.
People's lives were lost because we were searching for him.
I just don't want to see him hailed as a hero. I believe he should have a trial for what he did.
He is not a hero.
Wow. I mean, and so this is the first time since he was held captive for 5 years that he has spoken. He opened up to Serial about the moment that he walked away from his platoon. And the reason why he did it, Dan? Well, he did it to draw attention to bad leadership in the Army and because of some action figure guy named Jason Bourne.
I was trying to prove to the world I am I don't know, Jason Bourne.
Okay, help me with the Jason Bourne analogy. I haven't seen any of the Bourne movies.
He thinks he's Matt Damon.
Oh,
no,
really?
I mean, well, it's the Bourne franchise, the Bourne movies. Bo Bergdahl as Jason Bourne in the Bourne Desertion, as I suggested before. Rogue agent who's being targeted by the intelligence community for going rogue, and he's trying to essentially right wrongs that occurred in part internally
within intelligence agencies.
Well,
That's
he
kind
said
of the
that
premise.
once he walked out, he quickly fell into enemy hands. He said he got lost in some hills. Listen to this. And was taken prisoner by enemy fighters on motorcycles who found him
The hills are
who found him in an open desert. He went on to say that 5 or 6 men, he's not sure, 6 or 7 guys with AK-47s pulled up, and that was just that, he says.
20 minutes out, I'm going, good grief, I'm in over my head. Suddenly, it really starts to sink in that I really did something bad.
Yeah, you think? So the question is, should he be court-martialed, or do you think his 5 years in prison in the hands of the Taliban is punishment enough? 312-642-5600 is our Turnkey.pro answer line. Our text line, 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. How he was able to do
I
an
assume
interview,
that's a rhetorical question.
What do you mean?
That 5 years in the hands of the Taliban enough? He is facing desertion charges. The troubling aspect of it is it's been telegraphed that there may be a deal afoot that would essentially give him a slap on the wrists for what he did, as opposed to a long stint in the brig for what he did, which I think is the order of the day, considering 5 Taliban terrorists, 6 American soldiers killed. And here's the administration, too. This is interesting. The administration, if you recall, when news reports surfaced about a swap in the works, the Obama administration told lawmakers that the U.S. was not engaged in direct negotiations with the Taliban. Well, that was a half-truth, which is about 50% more than you normally get from the Obama regime. But they were negotiating with the Qataris. They were using the Qataris as intermediaries to essentially put together the deal. So it was happening. There is members of Congress who are suggesting that the transfer violated the National Defense Authorization Act and other laws. Also, a House Republican report suggested that the Pentagon's own Office of Detainee Policy was kept out of the loop about the prospective exchange. And, of course, Congress was intentionally misled. We're not negotiating with the Taliban. Well, you are through an intermediary. It's the same thing.
And
Substantively.
here's one of those Congress members.
The more information that people have about Sergeant Bergdahl, his motivation, the better.
The administration intentionally violated the law by not informing Congress and misleading Congress about these negotiations.
312-642-5600 is the number. I mean, he lives right now in San Antonio. He's able to do interviews. 25 hours of recorded phone calls between Bergdahl and the filmmaker Mark Boal. He's the one who produced Hurt Locker and Zero Dark 30. So Sarah Koenig from Serial got a hold of those tapes, and she's turned it into a podcast, the Serial podcast.
This guy to compare,
he's a lot of freedoms.
This guy to compare himself to some fictional action star. Yeah. 6 of his platoon mates are dead because he deserted his unit. And he is having fantasies about being some Hollywood action star. He was going to, deserting his squad was going to lead to whatever changes in the military and military leadership he thought should be made. This was some kind of social commentary, cry bully protest bull jive. This guy is just sickening.
Here's a little bit more of Bergdahl.
I would wake up not even remembering, what I was.
Yeah, an American soldier.
Yep.
Jackson and McHenry, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Basically, I'm a veteran of the 101st Airborne. I did 5 years active duty, and I was an air assault infantryman. Honorable service, and I got to tell you, this guy, he's a deserter. He's a turd. And everyone around him is saying it too, and there's good reason for it. And that's all I got.
What do you think? What do you think should happen to him in terms of punishment?
Well, I think that he should be punishment by the full extent of the law, and he meets the definition of treason. So it is what it is.
There you go. Thanks for the call, Jason.
Firing squads for people like that?
And for your service. Thanks for the call. Yeah, it hasn't happened since World War II. I'll tell you what, he keeps talking like that. He could persuade me. Megan in Evanston.
Hey, Megan in Evanston. Morning, guys. Love the show. My thought is, he's a traitor. He knew what he was doing, and if he loves Jason Bourne, a court-martial trial and time in the pen, he can read and catch up on all the Bourne Identity movies, or movies and books. Let's let him really get to know Jason Bourne.
Well, what about? Thanks for the call, Megan. What Megan? Did we lose you, Megan? You still there?
No, I'm here.
Oh, what do you think about the Eddie Slovak treatment? That was the last deserter executed by the U.S. government for treason.
I say it's on the table.
All right. Thanks for the call, Megan. Ralph and Rantoul.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. You know your history of World War II. You should be shot. They shot deserters, especially treasonous ones like him. I think the circumstances involving the deaths of 6 of his platoon members stomping around the desert looking for him. And, you know, I'm sure his captivity was no treat, but such is the fate of a fool who goes looking for the enemy and finds out that they're really not his friend.
Yeah, totally. Thanks for the call, Ralph. Yeah, if only President Obama could have that experience of looking for the enemy and discovering that they're not just a friend we haven't made yet.
And he really just wanted to draw attention to bad leadership in the Army. He mentioned that 2 times, and more is going to be released today, and they're going to have the whole podcast out. But
well, of course, what's he going to do? Is he going to say, no, I'm a cowardly deserter who was the proximate cause of 6 of my squad mates being killed in battle? No, he's going to say, he's going to pretend to be a whistleblower. He's going to put on the cloak of whistleblower.
I have a text message here from one of our avid listeners. My nephew was in the same company. He said he dropped his weapon, took a paper and pencil, and walked off the base.
Yeah. I'll look forward to his memoirs forthcoming. Todd in Arlington Heights.
Yeah, hi. I just wanted to say, you know, I spent 8 years in the Navy, and believe it or not, there's a lot of servicemen that desert. They sign a contract, but they don't have the intentional fortitude to fulfill the commitment. I know one particular guy who's kind of a close friend of mine. You know, they basically gave him a dishonorable discharge. He's working in a factory making about $15 an hour, you know. So, I mean, that's
but Todd, let me ask you a question. I mean, there's a difference, isn't there, between going AWOL and going AWOL in a theater of battle?
Well, no, because these guys didn't go AWOL. They deserted. They had no intention of returning.
Okay, all right. Well, then the same thing, though. The context is what I'm asking about. Doing so on a base versus doing so from your platoon in a theater of combat. And not to mention not going back to work at the Walmart, but going to enlist with the Taliban and whatever he was doing with them, which is still unclear.
You know what? The guy just sounds like he doesn't have he's not really smart, and you know, I'm just telling you it happens a lot in the service.
Okay. All
right.
Thanks very much. Thanks for the call, Todd. Appreciate it. Steve in Gary, Indiana.
Yeah, he shouldn't be shot. He should be hung.
Okay. All right.
Shot is a more honorable way to go out, and he has no honor.
All right. Thanks for the call, Steve. Please mark that down. We got one for shooting. We got one for hanging. We better keep track.
Besides the 6 lives that were lost, I mean, they raided several villages looking for him, and some innocent people were injured because villages were raided. He didn't care. He was selfish, and he's almost has a mental disorder, I think. Really, I mean, for him to pretend that he's this action figure, this movie action figure, and he's going to change the world. He's going to make a difference because he didn't like his commander. Grow up.
Matt Damon. Matt Damon. Matt Damon! Matt Damon! Matt Damon!
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
String of beautiful days here in Chicago. It's going to be mild today. Sunshine, some high clouds, 54 degrees. Tonight, a brief shower. Saturday looks pretty good. It's going to be warm, mostly cloudy. A passing shower, a high of 61 degrees. And on Sunday for the Bears-Washington Redskins game, it's going to be windy. Temperatures near the record high of 67 degrees, with light rain. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Eastbound Adams Tollway, it's jammed from the Elgin Toll Plaza to 25, where there's a crash in the left lane. Inbound Stevenson Expressway, really slow central to Kedzie, and from before the Rhine to Lakeshore Drive after overnight construction was late in clearing. It's 50 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound Fonda 34. The Eisenhower, it's slow Mannheim to Harlem, 37 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound, it's 34. There is a stall at Racine in the left lane coming out of downtown. We have delays on the inbound Ryan, especially heavy 35th into downtown. It's 27 minutes from 95th to the Loop. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Gather your friends, your family, and coworkers to team up for a holiday party that will be remembered for years to come. Make 10 Pin Bowling Lounge your destination for your office party or get-together. 10 Pin isn't just bowling. It's a cool, comfortable, upscale lounge with great music, delicious food, and a tempting drink list. You have to see their 128-foot video wall featuring your favorite sports teams or your own presentation. And you'll be on your game on one of the 24 state-of-the-art bowling lanes. I know, Amy, you're faking an injury so you don't have to square off against me and put in a bowling contest at...
I sprained my ankle.
Yeah, I mean, what would Billie Jean King say?
Suck it up and
That's
play.
Right. That's right. But that's fine, however you want to do it. If the pins don't go down as easily as the martinis, burgers, and conversation, don't worry. That's only part of the fun. Let their expert team of party planners customize your event. Big or small, there's room for everyone. So enjoy your next happy hour, corporate outing, or party at 10 Pin Bowling Lounge downtown on State Street, right next to the House of Blues. Come for the bowling, or just come for everything else. Get started today at 10pinchicago.com. That's 10pinchicago.com.
That's Lisbeth. She doesn't know it, but she owes her life to a change in public opinion. Our younger generation of women is turning the tide of public opinion concerning abortion. The most recent statistics show that more women facing unwanted pregnancies are choosing life compared to 15 years ago. Many wonder why, if a pregnant woman and her unborn child are murdered, it's a double homicide. Yet they ask, why isn't abortion a crime? More women now value life, even if their unwanted child is to be placed for adoption, because they may feel like they can never forgive themselves of an abortion, even if the law does. Lake County Right to Life, helping young women choose courage over convenience. LCRTL.org. That's LCRTL.org. Visit Lake County Right to Life on Twitter and Facebook, or call 847-223-7022.
I'm Lex, CEO of Balance of Nature. At Balance of Nature, we believe in real communication. Whether you call into the office or hear a success story on the radio, you can be sure it's real, unsolicited, and unscripted conversation.
There were times I was finding myself almost falling asleep at the wheel, that I had to pull over. That's the first thing I noticed, that hasn't happened since I've been taking Balance of Nature. I'm in sales, so I do a lot of walking during the day that would tire me out. I'm not as fatigued. I feel good.
The top 3 New Year's resolutions are health-related. Improve your odds by getting started early with our best price of the year. Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Are you having hysterical blindness thinking about the Dolly Parton movie? With the Ricker. You had a crush on Ricky Schroeder when you were a kid, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
When he was in the box, I remember, and he was crying. I wanted to reach into the screen and hug him myself.
With John Voight. Great movie.
But he did a wonderful job last night. He portrayed Dolly Parton's father. Grown up and raising 8 kids in the hills of Tennessee.
It ain't easy.
No, it ain't easy. Living in a log cabin, working the tobacco fields. But I love that movie. You saw another movie last night.
Yeah. Big Short.
Big
Short.
Short.
Private screening of The Big Short.
A private screening, folks,
That's
of
right.
The Big Short.
That's correct. And it's excellent. You're going to want to go out and see it. Really, really good. Great performances by Carell and Gosling and Pitt. Really, really good. All right. Speaking of doing some good.
Yeah.
This holiday season, the AM 560 Feed the Children campaign 2015. We are aiming to feed 18,000 children in the Chicagoland area this year. There's 2 ways for you to get involved. We've been, frankly, overwhelmed by the generosity of AM 560 listeners and business owners who are listeners so far, but we're not quite to our goal. Help us get across the finish line. There's 2 ways to do it. Individual listeners can make contributions of any amount to Feed the Children by calling 866-435-2248. Or you can just click on the banner listed at the 560theanswer.com website. Go to the 560theanswer.com website and search the keyword feed, or you can just go to our mobile app and click on the icon that says Feed Chicago's Hungry Children. That's one way to do it. The other way is the Business Benefactor Program. This is for small to mid-sized business owners, for people that are marketing a business. Make a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Feed the Children, and you receive 40 60-second spots, commercials, that will run Monday through Friday on these airwaves. All you do to get involved is call sales manager Michael Mann directly at 847-871-1527, 847-871-1527, Michael Mann. Ask him about the Business Benefactor Program. He'll get you signed up, or just text the word feed to our turnkey.pro text line, 64636.
And we have a long list of business benefactors and a few spots remaining. So if you're thinking about doing it, now's the time to act. Do it today. Do it before the end of business day. It's a great way to wrap up your work week. Michael Mann is standing by, 847-871-1527. It is the best way to introduce your products to the masses. Take your business to the next level.
And we want to thank so many of the businesses who've signed up already, including but not limited to Charles Equipment, Lindholm Roofing, Blue Peak Premium Tent and Event Rental, Express Pros, Strata Contractors, Franciscan Outreach, North States Steel, Inspire Realty Partners, St. Timothy Lutheran Church of Lombard, Meg Schmidt Consulting, Tallgrass Restoration, Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli, and the list goes on and on.
Don't forget my heartstrings. I'm wearing one of their lockets around my neck.
How could I?
I know. Call Michael Mann right now. He's lonely. He needs a phone call. 847-871-1527. Do it today. 847-871-1527. And thank you so very much in advance for your generosity.
Jackie! Wake him up! Wake him!
TJ, please.
I want you out!
TJ.
I want you out!
TJ. Please, TJ. Listen to me. He's gone. He's gone, son.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. You know, nothing frustrates me more than liberal hypocrisy. Take our food, for example. You know, the left claims to care about the poor and the environment, but guess what? They're waging a silent war against America's farmers that is making our food supply more costly and less sustainable. America's family farmers are producing more food using less land and fewer resources than ever before. Now, they should be cheered, but instead, radical groups are working with government bureaucrats to crack down on our farmers and limit the tools and technology that they're allowed to use. Now, the result is higher food costs for you, the American consumer, and low-income families. They're hit the hardest. Now, thankfully, someone is fighting back. Protect the Harvest is a national coalition working to defend modern American agriculture. You can check them out at protecttheharvest.com and follow them on Facebook to get the very latest news and see how you can help. Don't let radical activists control your family's food choices. Visit protecttheharvest.com today.
I am so excited to tell everybody who's considering buying a MyPillow but hasn't that now with the buy one, get one free offer, you also get a 60-day full money-back guarantee. So basically, you can try MyPillow risk-free. You have nothing to lose and could be enjoying your best sleep ever. Don't take it from me. Take it from Chuck.
Well, I got to tell you, I was skeptical at first listening to all the commercials. And when I received the pillow, took it out of the package, tried it the first night, put my head down, and I was asleep instantly. It's phenomenal.
It's the best product on the market. I love MyPillow. I'm addicted to it. Can't live without it. Helps with snoring, headaches, neck pain, insomnia. It's washable, keeps its shape to give you support where you need it most. For the MyPillow buy one, get one free offer and 60-day money-back guarantee, go to MyPillow.com, type Amy in the promo code, or call 800-489-0201, MyPillow.com.
And coming up after we check the headlines with Mike Scott, the resignations, the calls for Rahm to resign continue. And John Cass noticed something. Where is the outrage from the White House over the Laquan McDonald shooting? We'll discuss at 6:36.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, an FBI dive team searching a lake about 3 miles from the place where Syed Farouk and his wife opened fire last Wednesday on holiday co-workers in San Bernardino, California, killing 14. Officials say they do not appear to have also picked up on any extremist messages that the couple exchanged during their courtship 2 years ago. There's now a probe as to why those messages were not picked up on. Government funding expires at midnight tonight when the last short-term spending bill runs out. The Senate agreed by voice vote and without debate to extend that deadline through Wednesday, December 16, to allow more time for talks.
Deadlines come and deadlines go. We want to make sure that we get it right, and that is why we're trying to get these deliberations and these negotiations going in the right way without having some artificial deadline to get us.
House Speaker Paul Ryan says even more time may be needed. The president analyzing recommendations, he says, for possible executive actions on gun purchases.
He is going to forcefully advocate for the kind of gun safety measures that common sense tells us.
But one of those measures caused a California congressman to be placed on the no-fly list. Tom McClintock using his personal experience to explain why he thinks it's ridiculous to try and bar people on the no-fly list from buying a gun. The Republican says he was put on the no-fly list about 10 years ago.
The experience was absolutely Kafkaesque. My first reaction was to ask, well, why am I on that list? Well, we can't tell you. Well, what criteria do you use? That's classified. How do I get off that list? You can't.
He says it was a simple case of mistaken identity with an IRA terrorist in Britain. The image and name of Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump has been stripped from a Dubai golf course and housing development after Trump proposed banning Muslims from travel to the U.S. 4 people on board a medical helicopter were killed when it crashed last night in heavy rain and fog in central California. A woman charged this morning with attempted murder after she tried to suffocate her newborn baby with a plastic bag. Morton Grove Police and Fire say they responded to a medical distress call from a woman bleeding in a bathroom. While examining her, they found that woman's newborn child sealed in a plastic bag. The Illinois Commerce Commission has approved a rate decrease for ComEd and rate increases for Ameren. ComEd says the lower delivery rate announced this week is the result of efficiencies, they say, generated from ongoing rollout of the smart grid. Bulls over the Clippers, 83-80. NHL last night, Nashville beat the Blackhawks 5-1. The news, a service of the Foundation for a Better Life. Mr. Rogers passed along friendship, hoping we would too. Friendship, pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager wants answers from the president.
What law would he have passed that would have stopped the San Bernardino massacre? If you can tell me of an effective law that would have allowed the law-abiding citizen to get guns, but not these people, I want to know what they are. So I always ask, what do you propose? And then there are crickets.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer is a must-have for all busy parents. With just one scan to the forehead, Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer takes your child's temperature quickly and accurately. Available at Walgreens.
Cornerstone National Bank believes trust, service, and relationship is the foundation of a business banking partnership. Cornerstone National Bank and Trust Company, where you belong. Visit cornerstonenb.com. Member FDIC.
Antiques, collectibles, vintage, and more. The Antique Market is this weekend at the Lake County Fairgrounds, Grays Lake. Saturday 10 to 5, Sunday 9 to 3. ZircoPromotions.com.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
Illinois deserves an honest analysis of the problems facing our state. Avoid the spin from the mainstream media and Springfield insiders by tuning in to Illinois Rising every Sunday at 3 p.m. AM 560's Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute tackle the policy and political issues that matter most and discuss possible solutions. So if you're sick of the status quo, then be sure to listen to Illinois Rising this Sunday at 3 p.m. on AM 560. The Answer.
6:36 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. The latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. We're seeing a big traffic jam on the eastbound Adams Tollway, I-90 from the Elgin Toll Plaza to 25. A crash still has the left lane blocked there. The other tollways are fairly light. Northbound Tri-State, though, it is slow between the Reagan Tollway and North Avenue. The Edens is fine for now. A little heavy inbound approaching the junction. Kennedy, 28 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Outbound just 22. About Eisenhower, 42 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop. Outbound 33. Stevenson has heavy delays from the Ryan to Lakeshore Drive after overnight work was late in clearing. 50 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. Ryan, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both with 5-minute delays approaching the Ryan. Traffic, the service of Let Us Entertain You. Give the gift that fits all appetites, a Let Us Entertain You gift card. Receive a free $25 holiday bonus for every $100 in Lettuce gift cards you buy. Simply visit a Lettuce restaurant or LEYE.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Sun will mix with clouds today, high 54. Brief shower overnight or 2, low 49. Currently 44 and clearing skies at O'Hare. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Property Tax Show, Saturdays at 6 p.m., hosted by Brad Hayes, Chicagoland's property tax expert.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Should Rahm resign? 312-642-5600. That's the turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, the turnkey.pro text line. Amy, President Obama said that if he had a son, he would look like Trevon.
I say Trayvon, but you say Trevon, yes.
You didn't let me finish.
Okay.
President Obama, let's take 2.
Cut.
And scene. President Obama said that if he had a son, he would look like Trayvon, but not Laquan.
Really?
This is John Cass's point in an excellent piece he penned at ChicagoTribune.com. Were Emanuel a Republican, they'd be all over town, all over this town. But since he's there as a Democrat who was Obama's chief of staff and served Bill Clinton as an aide, they've decided not to engage. Chicago Royals, protesters, white, black, brown, take the streets, and calls continue for the mayor to resign over the month-long suppression of the police video. For national Democrats, this should be a perfect storm. Race, politics, anger, cops, black votes, and the politics of grievance or social justice. This is the irresistible combination Democrats have used for decades. It's the stuff that drives the Democratic Party's political theater. So why the crickets from the White House?
I don't know, 312-642-5600. They probably think, conjecture on my part, but they probably think, oh, we have a Department of Justice investigation into the police department, so that should be enough.
Did they?
They should be looking into the state's attorney's office and Mayor Emanuel's role.
Whoa. Did they have a Department of Justice with respect to Ferguson? Was that enough for them to not comment? President Obama, not them, President Obama. Was that enough to not comment? Is it the Department of Justice in the case of Henry Louis Gates? Was that enough to not comment?
Freddie Gray in Baltimore.
Was that enough to not comment?
They commented on that. You're right. Commented on
Trayvon, of course. Eric Holder, Loretta Lynch, same difference. It's still Obama's Department of Justice. It's racially politicized as much as the Department of Justice can possibly be. He has no problem weighing in on everything under the sun, particularly when it comes to racial politics if there's an opportunity for demagoguery, but not Laquan McDonald, not Ronnie Johnson, not Philip Coleman. Why the silence?
And there's
now there's a Department of Justice investigation, and he still says, hey, we're taking ownership of this, and that's why I've deployed Loretta Lynch to investigate the Chicago Police Department. Well, where's the president? He loves to rap about this stuff.
He loves an excuse to come back to Chicago, sleep in his own bed. Yeah.
Maybe we should call for 2 resignations. This piece, Chicago Reader, boy, I love the liberals that have been mugged by the reality of Rahm. And, by the way, a lot of Rahm Republicans, too, as corporate financiers downtown. All you lakefront liberal voters think you're so enlightened, so down with the struggle. Derek Clifton, Chicago Reader. Sorry, doesn't cut it, Rahm, but your resignation might. In truth, Rahm Emanuel hasn't shown Chicagoans what it means to fight hard. He's shown cowardice instead. He didn't speak to the chambers without being forced on the issue. It took the work of an independent journalist, legal filings and proceedings, and waves of organized protests to get any words out of Emanuel at long last. And yet now again, he wants people to believe that he's working for their betterment. And by the way, you suckerfish in Chicago, haven't we just seen this act in this calendar year? What did he do after he was forced into a runoff? He put the Mr. Rogers sweater on and sat down for commercial, and I own that. I'm, a jerk. And I own that.
Look at my softer side.
Yeah, and I own that, but I'm gonna try and do better. I know I have to stop being
a bully,
a little punk biatch, which is what he is. I know I have to stop doing that. And everybody who said, "Oh, okay, he's all better."
Yeah, he learned.
He deserves a second term.
Well, a lot of people voted for Chewy just to hold Rahm Emanuel accountable, to let him know, hey, you're put on notice.
Yeah, really? You think that made any difference? All it did was have him cut that stupid, insulting commercial that a lot of people bought.
Including?
All right. Mr. Clifton goes on in the Chicago Reader to write, it's not enough for Emanuel to insist that change starts with us. When he's refused to face the man in the mirror for years... Oh, where's the Michael Jackson drop? 9 months after winning re-election, and he sounds every bit the campaign politician, but a hollow shell of a public servant. It shouldn't take this much for a mayor to finally say, I'm sorry, and pledge to do better. Mea culpa he gave Chicagoans just before the fateful runoff, as I was suggesting. He's right about one thing, nothing less than but complete and total reform of the system will meet the standard we have set for ourselves as a city, and that starts with Rahm Emanuel humbly handing the reins over to someone else. Another question I have, though,
who's that someone else going to be? And is that person going to be any different than what we've had?
I don't know. That's up for Chicagoans. It's up for Chicagoans to press their, what's the word? Cowardly aldermen and state legislators to pass a mechanism by which to recall Rahm in the first place. LaShawn Ford, we had state rep from the West Side, we had on the show yesterday. He's filed legislation in Springfield, but, and he's got one co-sponsor right now. We don't need to talk to Madigan. It's about the people. Okay, Mike Madigan needs to be put on the dime. Are we going to have a floor vote on Laquan McDonald's legislation, recall legislation? John Cullerton, are we going to have a floor vote on the recall legislation? Governor Rauner, if it gets to your desk, will you sign it? Every member of the city council. Who's going to write it and sponsor it, or take LaShawn Ford's language and incorporate that into municipal ordinance and move that through the city council? Hey, where are you, Black Caucus?
They're not going to touch that because they could be up for recall as well.
Yeah,
because it encompasses the alderman and the mayor, and they're not going to do it.
Well,
that's why we hope it happens at a state level.
That's unacceptable. It happened at a state level that applies to the governor and state legislators.
Right.
So if there's enough pressure.
I'll sign that petition if it comes around, my park or where we're hanging out. I would sign the recall petition because they need 88,000 signatures.
Well, if it passes in the current form, the legislation is taken. So that's one. But that MoveOn.org right now is circulating a petition online. So you got the progressive left trying to do the same thing because they know that they are complicit with the Democrat power structure and have been for generations. And now they're trying to separate from someone who's radioactive in Rahm, and they're going to be the agent of reform. Shouldn't let them get away with it. You Rahm voters, you Lakefront libs, you corporate C-suiters in Chicago, you who live in the half a dozen wards that finance the entire city, because that's what Chicago has come. It's become hollowed out under the left-wing policies of Daley and Rahm. Don't give me this. They're really Republicans. Bull jive that I've been listening to for decades. Nonsense. Destroyed this city and a lot of families' lives in the process. So the question is, are you going to do something different? Forget MoveOn.org and those that are want to get Bernie Sanders Chicago, whoever that fits that description in, or somebody who is African American just for symbolic purposes, but as you suggest would follow the same policies, like Kurt Summers, the city treasurer, who's being groomed for this, or Kwame Raoul or Will Burns, all these people that are also part of the Chicago Democrat power structure who were part of saying nothing for 13 months on Laquan McDonald, on Ronnie Johnson, for years on Philip Coleman, any of this stuff. They're complicit. You're going to do something different, Chicago. You're going to do something different, Illinois. You're going to finally say, we're going to have system change here. The machine is weaker than it's ever been. Let's put it down. Let's put the machine down. I don't know. Michael on I-55.
Yeah, I don't think Rahm is ever going to lose his job, and he's certainly not going to quit, and he's not going to get anybody to force him out because he's got a big financial backer who has a great interest in his being there, and that's in the form of Uber. His brother-in-law or his brother is a major stakeholder in it. He's trying to get precedented access to the airports that will effectively kill an industry. They don't want him out. They don't want him out because they need him to be able to make their plans for domination of the ground transportation industry in Chicago and everywhere else. They can't afford to have him go out. If he's out, their plans are all on, wishy-washy.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Look, they're vested interests. I understand. I don't want to get into the Uber taxi cab discussion, but here's the deal. There are a lot of people with money. There are a lot of people with money in the city of Chicago and in this state. So, Rahm has a lot of corporate backing. That should dissipate. But in addition to that, there are other people to enlist if, frankly, for example, the Republican Party could get its head together and decide to try and establish a beachhead in Chicago, make a play there. Do something different. Do something different. If not in this moment, then it'll be another 100 years, honestly. Greg in Schaumburg.
He should resign, but I want to still move the conversation to this point, which both of you keep coming back and saying it was a legal transaction on the $5 million. Now, here's the counter. I'm not a lawyer. Don't play one on the radio. But if you buy into the way in which Blago was prosecuted and the way in which they seemingly stretched to find a way to connect him to something he didn't do and didn't get any money and everything, why is that same logic not apparent here in the manual? Even though the transaction was legal, he had knowledge of something that was a cover-up.
Well, thanks for the call, Greg.
And again, so many people have argued that and brought that up repeatedly, but according to Mayor Emanuel, believe him or not, he said in his op-ed over the weekend that the family's attorney went to City Hall and said, it wasn't a demand letter. They just kind of presented, we want to settle, and they did. And that's not illegal. Yeah,
it's shaking down somebody for campaign contributions is different than agreeing to settle a case with communication with the representation of a possible plaintiff, even though it's highly unusual. It's a completely different circumstance than calling the president of Children's Hospital and saying $100,000 in my campaign coffers, or you don't get, state funding that you're entitled to, your Medicaid reimbursements and whatnot. It's just different. Dennis in Crystal Lake.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, what's up?
Basically, Obama, anything a general or anybody in the military does, high ranking, he fires him. All right, because he's anti-military. Anything that's got to do with a cop, especially a white cop, oh boy, he's coming down on there. He'll be on TV in a heartbeat. But since Rahm's a Dem, and Rahm's lucky he's a Dem because Obama is not only a racist, he's an anti-Semite. And I'll tell you what, if I would like to have a naked run-in with Rahm right now, and I'll kick him out of office.
Okay, Dennis, I'll see you in the congressional locker room.
I own that. The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
I don't want a naked run-in.
No, neither do I. I don't even want to picture that. By the way, Jim Telemonte's knowledge of history, very impressive.
Yes.
Your record weather little data point, and he knew that was the Rutherford B. Hayes administration. Very impressive.
And you're going to be impressed if you like warm weather, that's for sure. Today, a high of 54 degrees. Tomorrow, a high of 61, setting a record set back in 1877. And then on Sunday, it's going to be windy around here. We have a chance of rain for your Bears-Washington Redskins game, but a high of 67 degrees. Let's get those travel times from a brilliant man. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy. Not sure about that. Dan, thanks for catching that. Beards are trending again, too. How about that? Northbound Tri-State, we see delays 95th to 87th from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Nothing too bad there, but the Adams Tollway is very heavy. The Elgin Toll Plaza to 25, a crash is finally gone out of the left lane, so that's improving a bit. Eden's 24 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound fine at 19. The Kennedy, 28 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 25. The Eisenhower, 43 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 33. The Stevenson, 50 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-80, Northwest Indiana, all clear. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Now it's time for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report, brought to you by the Mutual Fund Store.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Crude oil prices, reports on wholesale inflation, and retail sales. All factors influencing action on Wall Street today. Those stories next.
We all know someone who's been laid off in the past few years in some corporate cost-cutting move. Most of these people were over 50 years old, and they'd held their job for years. You tell me, who's going to hire these people at the same wage? In this day and age of job insecurity, is there any other feeling more empowering than being your own boss? Hi, Steve Cooper here, co-owner of ERSOP.com, ERSOP, which stands for Entrepreneur Rollover Stock Ownership Plan. We've helped thousands of people get control of their lives, income, and their sense of security. Along with my partner Karen Franklin, ERSOP.com has also helped these thousands of people use their retirement funds to invest in businesses for themselves and their family. It only takes a couple of weeks to finance, and it's totally legal. And the best part is, 3, 4, 5 years later, you put the retirement funds back and have the corporation carry on by itself. Be the entrepreneur you've always dreamed of being. Call 866-MY-ERSOP. That's 866-MY-ERSOP. Invest in yourself. Call 866-MY-ERSOP.
Wall Street investors hope to end what has been a turbulent week of trading, a cratering crude oil market contributing to more than 1% declines for each of the three major stock indexes. Crude oil prices plummeting more than 10% since last Friday when OPEC decided to maintain its crude oil production targets. The January crude contract yesterday settling under $37 a barrel for the first time since 2009. And today we find out how the crude oil market reacts to the Baker Hughes latest reading on U.S. oil rig counts. Investors considering as well a number of economic reports, including the latest reading on wholesale inflation. Wall Street also reacting to reports on retail sales, business inventories, and consumer confidence. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
My brother Chris is allergic to talking about retirement. Bring up his future and you'll get glazed eyes and awkward answers. Don't believe me? Let's try it. Chris, when will you retire?
Ha! You darn right I like nachos.
See what I mean? Chris, do you have a retirement account?
It's gotta be the right kind of cheese.
One last time. Are you ever going to retire?
And don't forget jalapenos. I love jalapenos.
Good for you, buddy.
Avoiding the retirement conversation? At the Mutual Fund Store, we get it, and our advisors are here to help. Whether you're storing 401k statements in a shoebox, can't tell a traditional from a Roth IRA, or include piggy bank as one of your retirement accounts, there are no judgments here. We'll simply sit down with you one-on-one, talk about where you're at, and help you put a plan in place to get you where you want to be tomorrow. Let's get the conversation started today with a free consultation.
Hi, I'm Steve Check with the Mutual Fund Store in Chicagoland. Call me at 888-498-3636 or visit mutualfundstore.com and let's talk about your financial goals today.
The Gun Safety Guy's mission is pure and simple: to help good people safely enjoy recreational shooting and improve their ability to protect themselves and their family responsibly. This is what Pastor Ed Bryant, the Gun Safety Guy, has built for you and your family. Pastor Bryant's background and experience enables him to communicate with all of his students, no matter what their age, gender, or ability. New shooters learn the fundamentals. Experienced shooters develop their skills. Above everything, all shooters are taught to value safety first. Family-friendly firearms instruction is the core of the Gun Safety Guy. I took his basic pistol class, and I can attest to the quality of the class, the quality of the instruction, and the focus on safety. So give the gift of firearm safety this holiday season. Gift certificates are available. Learn more at thegunsafetyguy.com. That's thegunsafetyguy.com. Family-friendly firearms instruction with NRA-certified instructor, Pastor Ed Bryant, thegunsafetyguy.com.
Slow down, step back in time, and spend the night at the Schuster Mansion in Milwaukee, where history and tradition come together. The Schuster Mansion is not just a bed and breakfast. It's a private retreat created for you to rest, relax, and enjoy. Each guest room has been lovingly curated with period furniture, romantic decor, and antiques. There's a modern private bath for every room. Whether you're celebrating a special event or just want to escape from the everyday bustle, the Schuster Mansion has just the room or suite to fit your mood. Each overnight stay includes a homemade breakfast in the Victorian dining room and fresh chocolate chip cookies any time of day. Be sure to reserve a seat at the table for high tea, featuring a buffet of flavored teas and a variety of savory scones and sweets. Call Laura Sue to make a reservation at 414-342-3210. 414-342-3210. It may be Wisconsin, but why stay in a cabin when you can stay in a castle? SchusterMansion.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Mr. White.
Everyone's doing it. They're signing up for a business benefactor program. What it is $2,500 tax-deductible donation. All of the money goes to the charity that we've partnered up with, Feed the Children. They provide meals for kids and families in need. What's raised here stays here. That's why we like them. But a $2,500 tax-deductible donation. All the money goes to Feed the Children. And as a way of saying thank you, we will give you 40 60-second commercials that will air prime time right here on AM 560. The Answer. Dan Proft, how do they sign up?
All they do is call sales manager Michael Mann. You call him directly at 847-871-1527 and ask for the business benefactor program, and he will get you engaged. Or you can go to our website, 560theanswer.com, search the keyword feed, search the keyword feed. Well, mixing and matching letters there. Or you can just text the word feed to our turnkey.pro text line 64636. And we want to thank so many of the businesses that have signed up to participate and help us achieve our goal of feeding 18,000 children this holiday season.
Yeah, companies such as Heartstrings, Patient MD, Tallgrass Restoration, Meg Schmidt Consulting, just to name a few. But you're going to want to do this by the end of the business day today. Get it done sooner rather than later. Michael Mann is standing by right now to take your phone call. 847-871-1527. If you're a small business owner, if you do the marketing for your company, this is a wonderful opportunity for you to help the needy and then also take your business to the next level. 847-871-1527. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Josh Earnest says the White House has no idea why Americans are buying more guns. We'll ask our friend Brett Baer from Fox News Channel if he has any idea why the White House has no idea. That's at 7:07.
But first, let's go back in and say hello once again to our friend. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, the search begins for a new Chicago police superintendent. Fewer students taking the state-mandated PARCC exam, and the Bulls edge the Clippers. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Divers will be back in the water today searching a lake for evidence related to the San Bernardino mass killers.
The FBI did not specify exactly what they're looking for, but we believe it may be a hard drive. So why here? Well, there was a 4-hour window between the time that they left the Christmas party, then were killed by police. And they believe they may have dumped the evidence here.
Fox's William LaJeunesse is at the lake about 2 miles from the crime scene where 14 people were murdered. Now, this has led to a big debate in the U.S. about screening people coming to America. Canada has welcomed its first plane full of Syrian refugees. 163 landed last night.
They step off the plane as refugees, but they walk out of this terminal as permanent residents of Canada.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau plans to bring in 25,000 more by the end of February. He cried in court as the jury convicted him. A former Oklahoma City cop found guilty of raping and sexually assaulting 8 women on his police beat.
We're going to ask the judge to make sure that this defendant never sees a light of day.
DA David Prater, if Daniel Holtzclaw gets the full punishment at sentencing, he wouldn't get out of prison until the year 2279. Facing a midnight deadline to keep the government funded, Congress is ready to punt the problem into next week. Fox's Jared Halpern live at the Capitol.
House negotiators have still not broken through, so the Senate made quick work of a short-term spending bill extending government funding for 5 more days. House Speaker Paul Ryan says he won't rush the must-pass bill.
We're not going to get everything we want in negotiations. The Democrats aren't going to get everything they want in negotiations. But I believe that we will successfully complete these negotiations.
A $1 trillion measure funding the government through most of next year is hung up on a series of policy provisions. Republicans want to roll back some environmental regulations. Democrats pushing for new gun laws. Dave.
Jared, two giant chemical companies have worked out a formula to merge. Dow Chemical and DuPont want to combine in a $130 billion deal. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Partly cloudy skies, 43 degrees in Chicago. It's 7:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. A woman being charged with attempted murder this morning after she tried to suffocate her newborn baby with a plastic bag. Morton Grove police and firefighters say they responded to a medical distress call from a woman in a bathroom. After examining her, they found the woman's newborn child nearby, sealed in a plastic bag. Family members of a black teen fatally shot by a white Chicago police officer are expected to speak publicly today. Chicago's Grace Memorial Baptist Church has planned a news conference with the Laquan McDonald family. The trial of a Chicago police commander accused of putting a revolver down a suspect's throat, focusing now on the agency that investigates police misconduct, as AM 560's David Stewart reports.
During the trial of Commander Glenn Evans, his attorneys tried to portray the Independent Police Review Authority as inept and biased. The former head of IPRA testified that Evans kept that gun for days before it could be swabbed for a DNA test, which showed that suspect Ricky Williams had come into contact with it. And when IPRA put together a photo lineup for Williams to view, it used an out-of-date photo of Evans taken before he began shaving his head. A judge will rule on Evans's guilt Monday, but the case could also provide data for the upcoming investigations of police discipline procedures. David Stewart, Chicago.
Fewer students in Illinois are taking standardized exams. The Tribune reports more students than ever opted out of the PARCC tests, a majority of those in suburban Chicago. Two Chicago area universities landed on a list of 50 colleges or schools where graduates earned the highest salaries. Now, it was MIT that did the survey and found that Northwestern University in Evanston and the Illinois Institute of Technology landed on the list as two schools where you earn the highest salaries after you graduate. Chicago sports, Bulls over the Clippers 83-80. Nashville over the Blackhawks 5-1, but Patrick Kane did extend his franchise record points streak to 24 games. The news, a service of Lead Safe America. What does ADD or autism look like? Well, it may actually be caused by lead poisoning. Lead is a neurotoxin, and it may cause permanent brain damage. Find out how to protect your family. Go to leadsafeamerica.org. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
It's sad but true. 1960s radicals are now your children's school teachers. Worried? Send your child to Young America's Foundation's high school conference at the Reagan Ranch. Here, your child will meet top conservative leaders and students and enjoy a life-changing tour of President Ronald Reagan's ranch. Young America's Foundation is the leading organization teaching young people about your values. Reaching young people was so important to Ronald Reagan.
We've got to do a better job of getting across that America is freedom. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of enterprise, and freedom is special and rare. And children, if your parents haven't been teaching you what it means to be an American, let them know and nail them on it.
So what are you waiting for? Send your son or daughter to Young America's Foundation's high school conference at the Reagan Ranch. To learn more, please visit ReaganRanchConference.org. A young person in your life will thank you. Again, that's ReaganRanchConference.org. But you must act now. Seats go fast.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Call Quicken Loans now to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. And for 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the second year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
Do you need to replace your tired old blinds? What if you could wave a magic wand and make them absolutely perfect? Well, you can't. But you can go to Blinds.com, the world's #1 online blind store. There's a huge selection, helpful videos, even a free design consultation. And every week they'll make brand new offers appear right before your eyes. So visit Blinds.com and make upgrading to new beautiful blinds seem almost magical. Go to Blinds.com or call 888-4BLINDS. That's 888-4-BLINDS. Call or go to Blinds.com today.
7:06 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy is getting heavier with delays from Canfield to the Burn Circle. It's 36 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 20 from Montrose, 18 in the Express. Outbound, 26 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Eden's 22 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. The Eisenhower, now 46 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 33. Inbound Stevenson, 50 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, it's fine. Inbound Ryan, we're looking at 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 20 minutes, I-80 to the Verge. Outbound 27, there's a car fire at 111th, two right lanes. It's 4:20 minutes, 80-94 to the right. Northbound Tri-State, so 95th to 87th from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis. Then from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway delays from the Elgin Toll to 25 and Roselle to Meacham. Veterans Memorial, stop and go Boughton to Maple with a crash in the left lane. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, mild with sunshine mixing with some clouds, high 53. Tonight, mostly cloudy and mild with a brief shower or two, low 47. Mostly cloudy with a shower tomorrow, high of 60. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 43 at O'Hare, 47 along the lakefront. Your next news at 7:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
The more information that people have about Sergeant Bergdahl, his motivation, the better.
I was trying to prove to the world I am I don't know, Jason Bourne.
Donald Trump's decision to cancel or at least indefinitely postpone his trip to Israel is being greeted here with a sigh of relief.
I didn't want to put him under pressure, number one. I also did it because I'm in the midst of a very powerful campaign.
And they were connected to Farouk's mosque?
The Farouk Mosque is called Dar Uloom. It's a global network of similar kinds of mosques under the umbrella of this organization.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Amy mentioned this a bit earlier, but a rather compelling interview that was done by Fox News Channel's Megyn Kelly yesterday, who I believe is on the short list to be Donald Trump's vice president.
Yeah, I think she's smart enough to turn that down.
She interviewed a Department of Homeland Security whistleblower named Philip Haney, who suggested that in 2012, as an agent with U.S. Customs and Border Protection's National Targeting Center, he opened an investigation into a Sunni Islamic group called Tablighi Jamaat, which is a subset of a fundamentalist movement, and it tracked back to, among other places, a mosque in San Bernardino that the male terrorist murderer attended. And he suggests, among other things, that had the investigation, his investigation, not been derailed, and he says it was derailed by the Homeland Security's Office for Civil Rights and Civil Liberties because the federal government did not want to profile Islamic groups. That's what Philip Haney, this whistleblower, says. He says two things could have happened that may have prevented San Bernardino were his investigation allowed to go forward. Listen to Mr. Haney.
Therefore, two things very plausibly would have happened. Either Syed would have been put on the no-fly list because of his association with that masjid, and or the K-1 visa that his wife was given may have been denied because of his affiliation with a known organization.
Mm-hmm. For more on this and other matters, we're now joined by Megyn Kelly's colleague. He is, of course, Bret Baier.
Stop it.
The host.
She's his colleague.
Well, he's her colleague. Stop being so sexist, Amy. Bret Baier's very happy to be Megyn Kelly's colleague.
I'll take whatever you give me. That's good. I saw her last night, and that's why it was a compelling interview. I tell you, it's. I think we're finding out more and more about the inner workings of the bureaucracy of tracking down possible terrorists. And the battle between civil rights inside this administration and not wanting to target Islam, and we've seen it with the president's rhetoric and terminology he uses, but also in the actual deployment of going after these folks, as this whistleblower has talked about.
Well, how soon do you think his friend, Mr. Enrique Marquez, is charged? Because now I'm hearing from my FBI sources that now he's cooperating with investigators and giving them a little bit more information. But his mom came out and said, I never knew my son was married, never knew he even had a girlfriend, and I never knew he converted to Islam.
Yeah, that's troubling when your mom doesn't know. But I think he's probably going to cooperate. And I think the fact that they were searching this lake in San Bernardino for evidence, which could have been a hard drive or a thumb drive, suggests that there were more plans, there were more targets, and possibly there were more people involved in this whole deal. And clearly the FBI is trying to pull the string quickly.
Congressman Loretta Sanchez, who's a California Democrat, and she's running for the U.S. Senate for Barbara Boxer's open seat, she said yesterday that with respect to radical Islamic terror, we know there's a small group. We don't know how big it is. It can be anywhere between 5 to 20% from the people that I speak to that Islam is their religion and have a desire for a caliphate and to institute that in any way possible, and to, in particular, to go after what they consider Western norms, our way of life. 5 to 20%. Now, that's a lot more than I've even estimated, and I've seen estimated. I mean, 20% worldwide, that's
1.5 billion.
300 million people. Yeah. I mean, so, even if it's 5%, that's 75 million people. Even if it's 1%, it's 15 million people. I mean, we keep talking about this as a small fraction of the Muslim population, particularly in America. And I could see the point, but a small fraction from a big population can turn out to be a big number and a big problem.
Yeah, I mean, I would question the 20% figure, but I think that that any figure, you're right, is a huge number, and it's going to be a balance between security and making sure that Muslims obviously are treated fairly inside the U.S., and that's the whole Donald Trump dust-up and why it is such a focus of every cable network and television network.
But part of that focus has to be on President Obama and the American public's approval of how he's handling national security matters. I mean, he is upside down.
That gets lost.
Yeah.
That gets lost, Dan. I mean, it really just gets absorbed in this news bubble that is Donald Trump. And it's a shame because, you have a speech by the president on a Sunday night in prime time where arguably there was not anything new. And there were networks that were scratching their heads saying, why was this urgent in the middle of a football game? And why did we have to take this? Because there really wasn't any new policy or new prescription for the country in dealing with this. And, that got lost in days of Donald Trump coverage.
Well, right, but I mean, connecting the two, it's Obama's fecklessness that leads to the Trump opportunity for, what Trump does. In addition to that, against this backdrop where 2/3 of the American people do not approve of the way President Obama is handling national security issues, particularly as it relates to combating radical Islamic terror, then Josh Stern to say, well, we have no idea why Americans are buying more guns. Really? You have no idea?
Yeah, I mean, that was quite a statement because, listen, it's pretty cut and dry. People don't feel secure. People feel like the president is going to try something on gun control, so they might as well get the gun now if they wanted one. And, I think it's a combination of all of those things, but basically people don't feel confident in the total security package this administration is putting forward.
And people don't feel that it's okay to be, they want to be politically correct. I mean, look at the neighbors in the San Bernardino case. They knew people were going in and out of that garage in the middle of the night. A lot of packages were coming. And they even said they didn't want to look racist, so they didn't call police.
Yeah, and that's right there, Amy, is the attractiveness of Donald Trump. In the PC world in which we live that has gone really PC, he is like the antidote to political correctness. Now, whether he's the right vessel to go forward, I think the Republican Party is going to have to figure that out.
And where do you get the sense that this idea, one of President Obama's big proposals to ban persons on the no-fly list from obtaining weapons, where do you see that on the Hill? We saw the governor of Connecticut, Daniel Malloy, is acting unilaterally, despite potentially constitutional problems, that by executive order, he is banning anybody on the terrorist watch list from buying guns in Connecticut.
Yeah. Listen, this is, I see more Republicans saying they might be in favor of something like this if the list was cleaned up, if there was a system by which somebody had due process on that list. But, everybody says it's a small minority, but you hear all these stories all the time about different people getting on the list who obviously are not terrorists. I mean, Steve Hayes being one of them on my panel. So I think that there is some give there, but because we're in such a different environment, any gun legislation is going nowhere in the short term.
How did he get on that list? Did you ever find out? I know you helped get him off that list, but why was he on it?
He was on it because he took a one-way trip to Turkey and then hooked up with I think it was a Department of Defense flight on the way back. But the fact that he took a one-way trip to Turkey was a big problem.
Just curious, before we let you go, the Rahm Emanuel story here become a national story, international story, really. I wonder what the sense is. Hillary Clinton kind of restating her confidence in Rahm as a mayor amid a lot of calls around the country, frankly, for Rahm to resign from columnists, as well as the protests that have been going on in Chicago all week.
Don't stop.
In addition to that, President Obama being uncharacteristically silent on the matter. I wonder what the sense is inside the Beltway where Rahm used to roam.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of reporters that are itching to get the White House perspective on this since they've weighed in on a number of other issues. And listen, I think the fact that there's a federal investigation takes it to a different level, but it also gives the White House cover to say there's an investigation ongoing and the president's not going to comment on it. So he's got a little time, but I do see a lot more calls up on Capitol Hill for Rahm to step down.
All right, he is Bret Baier. Bret, I'm going to see your other colleague, Bill O'Reilly, at a luncheon today. Anything you want me to tell him?
Tell him he's the best.
He's
just tell him.
I think he knows that, but go ahead and tell him that, Dan.
Right. He needs that positive reinforcement, right? All right, Bret Baier, host of Special Report, 5 p.m. Chicago time, Monday to Friday. Bret, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
We'll see you.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro I'm going to their Christmas party answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Clouds right now, and we'll have some sunshine later today, a high of 54 degrees. And then over the weekend, temperatures, in the mid to upper 60s, believe it or not. Saturday, some rain, a high of 61 degrees. And on Sunday, for your Bears Washington Redskins game at Soldier Field, it's going to be windy, but a record warmth near the high of 67 degrees with
bad news for Robbie Gold.
Sporadic rain. Why? What happened? What?
It's going to be windy.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He's on problems kicking field goals all of a sudden.
He's on my fantasy football team. Hey. Let's see if there's any trouble on the roadways. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. In general, traffic is lighter than usual, but it's heavy early on the Veterans Memorial Tollway, northbound 355. Stop and go Boughton to Maple, where there's a crash in the left lane. Eden's just 21 minutes either way between Lake Hook and Montrose. The Kennedy is slow from Canfield all the way downtown. 44 minutes, O'Hare to the Loop. Express lane save you 5 or 6. Outbound just a 6-minute delay, Montrose to Sayre. The Eisenhower's 46 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 33. The Stevenson holding at 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Fine outbound. The Ryan 33 minutes, 95 to downtown. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
When you buy a new house, you don't buy the first one you see. When you sell your house, you don't choose the first real estate broker you hear about. You choose the agent backed by the most powerful brand in real estate, and that agent is Ed Lukasik Jr., owner of RE/MAX Professionals. Ed doesn't need to offer gimmicks like promising to buy your home because he can't sell it or 24-hour listing agreements. Ed does offer the promise of hard work and an aggressive, innovative marketing plan to sell your home. The most compelling reason to call RE/MAX Professionals is the best. Ed Lukasik Jr. has closed over 1,600 homes since 2008, giving him the knowledge and experience most agents can't obtain in their whole careers. The average real estate agent closes 7 homes a year. Guess what? Ed sold over 229 listings in just the past year alone. So call Ed now, 630-679-5454. That's 630-679-5454. Sell your house with the professionals. RE/MAX Professionals.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. That's right. I'm now Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. I'm the same guy that's provided listeners with honest advice and outstanding customer service for the past 13 years. The only thing that's changed is where I work. When you wanted to do an FHA Streamline refinance to lower your interest rate and payment, you called me and I helped you. When you wanted to refinance your 11% loan, you called me and I helped you. When you wanted to use your retirement assets to do an asset depletion loan, you called me and I helped you. If you'd like to talk to me about a mortgage, please call me at 312-751-1333. 312-751-1333. Email me at david@pearldavid.com. That's david@PERLDavid.com. Or visit my website, am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358, licensed by DBO under California RMLA and MLS 19186, pearlmortgage.com licensing.
Our event is going well. I just wish they wouldn't have used the plastic tablecloths.
The food looks like it's been under the heat lamp for an hour.
I can't believe they didn't have room to seat the accounting department at the last minute.
When you plan a corporate event, wedding, or social gathering, you have that picture-perfect image in your head of what it's supposed to look like. At Belvedere Banquets, they bring the shining elegance you expect to see downtown right to the suburbs. From their photogenic lobby fountain to their 5-star quality food options, Belvedere Banquets has your next big event covered in shimmering excellence. They can even bring their top-notch catering right to you. It's time to host an event that leaves everyone in awe at a price that can accommodate budgets for groups of 12 to 1,000. Call 847-534-0600 or visit their beautiful website at belvederebanquets.com. Get the positive event planning experience you deserve for your next occasion. 847-534-0600 or belvederebanquets.com.
The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM 560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. If you have a pre-existing condition, a canceled plan, or your premium increased, now's the time to get covered. 2016 open enrollment begins on November 1st and ends on January 31st. During this 90-day window, you cannot be denied coverage. Depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. The new healthcare law is very complicated and you do need guidance. It costs you nothing to use a broker, so why not tap into my expertise?
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551. AM
560, The Answer.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful.
I love Christmas. What's your favorite holiday, Dan?
Arbor Day.
What did you say?
Arbor Day.
Arbor Day is your favorite holiday?
Yeah, I'm an environmentalist.
Okay. Well, we here at AM 560 The Answer like Christmas because every time around this time of year, we partner up with Feed the Children, and they're a great company. They help kids and families in need. There's 1 in 5 American children face the prospect of hunger on a regular basis, and hunger doesn't take a holiday. So Feed the Children, what do they do, Dan? How do they help the community?
Well, Feed the Children, and just a point of order, 501c3, an exemplary charity.
Oh,
I want to make that point.
Detail, Dan.
Their mission is to provide resources for families affected by poverty, and our goal this holiday season is to feed 18,000 children around the Chicagoland area. So the money that you contribute will be used to feed families in our community. That's important, keeping it local. There's 2 ways to get involved. One, you can make a contribution of any amount to feed the children by calling 866-435-2248. Or you can visit our website, 560theanswer.com, and search the keyword feed. Or you can go to our mobile app, use our mobile app for you tech-savvy types, and tap on the button that says Help Feed Chicago's Hungry Children.
Yeah, it takes just minutes to help so many. I donate every year. Dan has made a donation this year of $100, and I was the broker. I brokered that deal for you.
Yes, you were like the Qataris with the Bo Bergdahl transfer.
And operators are standing by. It takes just minutes again to help so many. 866-435-2248. Make a donation on behalf of your well-fed children or grandchildren. But there's also a second way that you can help and that you can get involved. It's called our Business Benefactor Program. I know we've been beating this drum for the past few weeks, but it really is a wonderful opportunity. If you're a small business owner, if you're the marketing director for your company, if you thought maybe I want to take my business to the next level, I don't know a lot about advertising, well, this is the time to act. A $2,500 tax-deductible donation. All of the money goes to feed the children. And then as a thank you, we will give you 40 60-second commercials that will run Monday through Friday. We're not sticking you on the weekends. Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m.
And you want to join that drum circle? Call sales manager Michael Mann directly at 847-871-1527. Again, Michael Mann, our sales manager, 847-871-1527. You just ask him about the Business Benefactor Program, and he'll get you signed up.
And we can voice the commercials for you.
We certainly can. And you can, another way to sign up, text the word, feed, to our turnkey.pro text line 64636, and you'll be prompted to sign up, as so many business benefactors have, including, but not limited to, St. Timothy Lutheran Church of Lombard, Grandview Capital, Thinking Outside the Box Law, Access Master, Patient MD, Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli, Inspire Realty Partners, Charles Equipment, and many, many more. Thank you so much.
Yes, and you can be a part of this list, but do it today. Slots are filling up quickly, so act now. Call Michael Mann, 847-871-1527. He's all alone there in his office waiting for your phone call. 847-871-1527.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
It's sad but true. 1960s radicals are now your children's school teachers. Worried? Send your child to Young America's Foundation's high school conference at the Reagan Ranch. Here, your child will meet top conservative leaders and students and enjoy a life-changing tour of President Ronald Reagan's ranch. Young America's Foundation is the leading organization teaching young people about your values. Reaching young people was so important to Ronald Reagan.
We've got to do a better job of getting across that America is freedom. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of enterprise, and freedom is special and rare. And children, if your parents haven't been teaching you what it means to be an American, let them know and nail them on it.
So what are you waiting for? Send your son or daughter to Young America's Foundation's high school conference at the Reagan Ranch. To learn more, please visit ReaganRanchConference.org. A young person in your life will thank you. Again, that's ReaganRanchConference.org. But you must act now. Seats go fast.
This Christmas, give the people on your list the gift of holiday happiness. I'm talking about rich, chocolatey brownies from Vermont Brownie Company, featuring decadent flavors like dark chocolate with a touch of sea salt, buttery maple toffee, and walnut chunk. They're ridiculously good. Surprise and delight your loved ones with some of the best brownies they'll ever taste. They're baked using farm-fresh ingredients that's pure bliss in every bite. To order and save 10%, use code 2000. Your gift comes specially packaged with a free personalized gift card. So what are you waiting for? To give a sweet gift for under $20, use promo code 2000 at checkout at VermontBrownie.com. Go to VermontBrownie.com, promo code 2000, and save 10% on those Vermont brownies. Christmas delivery guaranteed. Hurry, because this offer ends soon.
AM 560, The Answer.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
It is Christmas. Christmas right around the corner. It's a great time for the atheists to come out and try and ban prayers after football games. We'll talk to a attorney for the Freedom from Religious Foundation at 7:37, and we'll try and explain the Establishment Clause to him.
Yes, and he's trying to stop a local football team from praying. But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say hello to a man who loves Christmas, our friend Mike Scott.
Amy Jacobson, stick around to the end of this newscast. I've got news for you. Big news from overnight. 45 degrees and the clouds and sunshine this morning. U.S. officials in Switzerland are urging all Americans there to be on high alert this weekend. Officials say they have information that a terror attack may be planned for Geneva. Now, the UN and other countries are sending in extra forces to guard entry points along the French border. Small Lake in San Bernardino, California, being searched, part of the investigation into last week's mass shooting and terror attacks. Speaking to reporters near that lake, David Bowditch with the FBI would not say what the evidence divers are searching for. It may be a hard drive. Top figures with the Republican Party this week say, yes, they are preparing for a possible brokered convention. Normally, party conventions are formalities since one candidate tends to have a dominating lead. The GOP convention is scheduled for mid-July in Cleveland, and RNC Chairman Reince Priebus acknowledged this week the party is prepared for a brokered-style convention. For those of you traveling over the holidays, here's a warning. 3 big U.S. airlines are banning hoverboards in carry-on and checked baggage. United, Delta, and American announcing the hoverboard ban yesterday, saying it's because of those batteries inside those hoverboards causing safety concerns. A woman being charged with attempted murder after she tried to suffocate her newborn baby with a plastic bag. Morton Grove police and firefighters say they responded to a medical distress call from a woman in a bathroom bleeding. When they found her, they also found the woman's newborn child sealed in a plastic bag. That newborn baby is recovering at this hour. Chicago's launching a nationwide search for its next police superintendent. The police board will take applications until the middle of January. And last night, the proof is in the pudding for that saying that goes, it's all fun and games until somebody gets hurt. The Des Moines Register this morning reporting their basketball reporter Randy Peterson found out the hard way. Peterson broke his tibia and fibula at the end of the Iowa State-Iowa game last night as Iowa State fans rushed the court to celebrate Iowa State's come-from-behind win. By the way, they were down by 20 and they came back to win. That's breaking Amy Jacobson's heart right now. Surgery.
I'm so sad.
Surgery scheduled early this morning at a Des Moines hospital for Randy Peterson, who did have a sense of humor about the incident, tweeting only one word, ouch, shortly afterward. And yes, Iowa State did win that game. Chicago sports last night, the Bulls were winners over the Clippers, 83-80. NHL, Nashville beat the Blackhawks, but Patrick Kane extended his franchise record point streak to 24 games. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
Does holiday shopping in stores increase your risk of identity theft? Yes. Shopping puts personal information out there, and big retailers have been breached. Does shopping online increase risk? Yes. Online shopping leaves a trail of personal information behind. Does giving fruitcake as a gift increase risk? No. It's not very original and the fruitcake may never get eaten, but it won't increase risk. Holiday shopping and using Wi-Fi over an eggnog latte at the coffee shop will. That's why LifeLock does more than free credit monitoring services to protect you from identity theft. We have proprietary technology to detect a range of threats. And if you have an identity problem, we have a U.S.-based team of specialists who work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor transactions at every business, but with LifeLock, you can shop till you drop and feel better protected, even if you do buy the fruitcake again. Right now, enjoy 10% off your membership as our gift to you. Go to LifeLock.com and enter promo code NEWS.
Here's Dr. Howard, formulator of Balance of Nature, an all-natural, 100% organic fruit and vegetable supplement.
Did you know 40% of all cancer could be prevented? That's a fact. Along with maintaining appropriate body weight and regular exercise, the American Institute for Cancer Research and the USDA confirm that eating 9 to 11 servings of fruits and vegetables every day is the key. Now ask yourself, am I at risk? How many servings of fruits and vegetables did I eat today? Balance of Nature has solved this problem and provides an easy and affordable way to consume over 10 servings of 31 different whole fruits and vegetables every day.
Get real today with Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. Call toll-free 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and be sure to enter promo code CHICAGO.
736 in our Chicago RadioDeals.com traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Like in Round Lake Beach, Rollins Road is closed right now at Cedar Lake Road due to a crash there. The inbound Kennedy is getting very heavy in a hurry, really jammed from Nagel to the Burns Circle. The travel time has skyrocketed. It is an hour and 14 minutes from O'Hare to downtown. Not sure the reason. 57 minutes from Montrose, 41 in the Express. Outbound, there's just a 6-minute delay from Montrose to Sayre. The other expressways are mostly lighter than normal. The Edens, about 24 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, and outbound 21. The Eisenhower, 50 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 29. Inbound Stevenson, there's a delay, Harlem to Kedzie and Cermak to Lakeshore Drive. 50 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. Outbound, it's clear. Ryan, 33 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, slow 95th to 87th. Very slow Archer to 31st. Then from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, Adams Tollway stop and go Higgins to Meacham, Veterans Memorial, I-55 to Maple after a crash. Traffic, service of Compassion International. There's a little boy or girl living in poverty right now. They don't have enough to eat, are sick, and can't go to school. You can release them when you become a sponsor with Compassion International. Find out how, compassion.com/radio. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Sun and clouds today, high 54, 44 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
What is up, Dan and Amy? Oh, boy. Naperville Schools Chief bans prayer at student sporting events. From the Chicago Tribune, responding to concerns raised by this group, Freedom from Religion Foundation. Naperville Community School District 203, which is Naperville Central, Naperville North. The superintendent there, Dan Bridges, agreed to enact a ban on team prayers at all Naperville Central and Naperville North student athletic activities. That's not good enough.
No. Well, apparently there was a picture taken, a team prayer photo that was snapped by one of the fans and from their November 14th game against Wabanzi Valley High School. Wabanzi, excuse me.
Welcome to the neighborhood. Yeah,
sorry. I'm a mid-suburban leaguer myself. But so somebody sent that picture apparently to this Freedom for Religion Foundation. And that's what started it all. But I want to know who sent the picture and why.
Yeah, but also that what the superintendent did does not go far enough. According to the faith banners there at the Freedom from Religion Foundation. And we're now joined by the attorney for the aforesaid organization, Ryan Jane. Ryan, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. A pleasure to be here.
So let's start. Could you distinguish this case from Town of Greece, New York v. Galloway?
Yeah, absolutely. So in Greece v. Galloway, that was a Supreme Court case last year that had to do with legislative prayer. And so that was a result of them looking at the historical significance of legislative prayer, that particular context. In this case, we're talking about a school, and the Supreme Court has been much more vigilant in enforcing the Establishment Clause at public schools.
And so, did you in your organization, did they agree with the Supreme Court decision in Greece v. Galloway, Town of Greece v. Galloway?
No, we definitely
did not. Right. So so that was not compelling to you, as is not the superintendent's actions here. You wrote in your letter that it's unconstitutional for public school employees to participate in the religious activities of their students.
Right.
How far does that extend, in your opinion?
If a state actor is representing the government, they cannot be taking a stand on matters of religion. And so if the students are participating in a religious exercise, any state actor, including teachers and coaches, if they participate in that activity, they are showing their approval for it, and that is impermissible.
Even in their private lives?
What I think you mean by private lives would be that they are not when they're not representing the school district in this case. And in that case, they can do whatever they want. They're just private citizens.
All right, so
when they're representing the school district, it's different.
The coach didn't deny that there was, that he led a prayer, and the district has come out and said this won't happen again. But why is that not enough for you?
Yeah, so it's really. Do
you want money from the school district or something?
No, absolutely not. We're not looking for any money at all from this.
Equitable relief. Yes, got it.
No. We try to take every effort to resolve this through letters and phone calls. It's very, very rare as a last resort that we would go to court.
But they said they changed their behavior. Why is that not enough for you?
Oh, right. So this is really just a clarification. So when the superintendent responded, he was addressing my primary concern in the letter, which was the coach leading the prayer. But in the letter, I maybe wasn't explicit enough in saying that coaches also cannot participate. So I just wanted him to clarify for the athletic directors that that is also prohibited.
Well, what the next target? Are you going after state universities that where the guys get around at the 50-yard line after the game and they do a little prayer after the game? Because I mean that's state property. You have state employees, coaches, football coaches at University of Illinois. They're state employees. So is that next?
Actually, that's already that's in the past. We released a report earlier this year. Our staff attorney Andrew Seidel and also Patrick Elliott worked on a report on chaplains at public universities, and it is the same issue. It's having a representative of the government endorsing religion on the football field.
What about Notre Dame? I mean, they receive public money for like research, so no chaplains at Notre Dame either for a prayer before the game or prayer on the field, anything like that. I'm not sure what the facts are with Notre Dame, how much funding they get, or to what extent they would be considered a state entity, but that would be the question. Even if it's a dime, I mean, it's public money. What about the NFL? The NFL, you have a lot of publicly financed stadiums, financed in part. So the same thing, 50-yard line, the guys at 50-yard line after the game. I mean, that should be eradicated, shouldn't it?
Well, just because you receive public money doesn't automatically make you a state actor. So that's where the line's going to be there.
Well, but in your opinion, because your freedom from religion is the name of your foundation. It's not freedom of religion. You want religion eradicated in the public square, don't you? And so any opportunity to insinuate yourself there, like any public money being used in any material way, you want to get into that, don't you?
We don't want religion eradicated from the public square. We want religion eradicated from government specifically.
What's the public square? The public square is by definition government.
I don't understand that to be correct. I think that
the public square is a space that is not owned by any individual. So it is owned collectively. And who owns collective property? Who owns Daley Plaza in Chicago? Do I own it? Do you own it? No, it's the public square. The government owns it.
Right, but for Daley Plaza is a great example where the government has the ability to create a forum where they can say private individuals who are not government representatives can come and say anything they want. And in that case, we are not at all opposed to people sharing and promoting religion.
So a voluntary prayer at the 50-yard line, it by definition is voluntary, so people can come and say whatever they want. Was anybody being, no Lutherans at the 50-yard line, no Episcopalians, no Jews, no Muslims. Was that happening? No, it wasn't happening. Right.
So
go ahead.
Back to this case in Naperville here. So if the students pray, next season when their football season starts, because I know some that want to continue to pray before the game, and then they're grateful to God after the game that no one suffered any catastrophic injuries. If they want to do that, they can, but they just can't have their coach there?
Yeah, exactly. The students are welcome as a group to get together and pray. They're not state actors. They can do whatever they want. Totally fine. And the coach can do it on his own as well. He just can't, again, as a representative of the school district, promote religion.
What if
they prayed outside of the football field?
There would be a line at some point where they would say, the court would say, okay, the game is over. They're off the property, perhaps. I don't know. Whatever the specific context were, the question would be, is he representing the school at this moment? And if he is, then he can't endorse religion.
How did you get that picture? Who sent you that picture?
We keep our complainants anonymous, but it was a member. So we have 23,000 members across the country, and we mostly rely on them for these sorts of things. So I got sent that photo by a member in the Naperville area.
What if the coach was asked by a player, can we organize a prayer at the 50-yard line after the game? Is he allowed to respond to that question?
You mean if he's asking, can we, the students, organize a prayer?
If a student comes to him and says, hey, coach, I want to organize a prayer at the 50-yard line, is that okay? Is he allowed to answer that question?
Yeah. Sure, he can answer that question. Because
can the coach say, hey, can the coach volunteer it? If you guys want to organize a prayer at the 50-yard line, if you're the Naperville Central coach, Naperville North coach, in the wake of this superintendent's decision, can he proactively say, if you guys want to do something at the 50-yard line, that's up to you? Is he allowed to say that, or is that violative in your opinion?
Sure. No, he could say that. Absolutely.
All right. He is Ryan Jane. He's attorney for the Freedom from Religious Foundation. Ryan, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Ooh.
All right. And
well,
let's
you know what?
Go ahead.
I learned something. I didn't know that there's people out there in Naperville, of all places, that are monitoring this stuff.
No, sure. Yeah. I mean,
little secret spies that send pictures of football teams
No,
praying.
thanks,
My
so.
God, don't they have anything better to do with their time? Snitches. Oh,
freedom
my God.
from religion. Right. The Establishment Clause, just so we're clear, is freedom of religion. No state establishment of religion. And voluntary prayer at the 50-yard line or, frankly, in a classroom, that is the state establishing a state religion in the minds of people who say they don't want to eradicate religious freedom. But that's really what they want to do.
Somebody texted in, nice smackdown, Dan.
Michael in Riverside, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, Dan, he basically wants to abolish the First Amendment. I mean, these coaches have the right at any time, as a teacher has the right at any time. What's he going to ban, teachers wearing crucifixes?
Yes.
I
Yes,
mean,
you're imposing your will. That's you're an emissary of the state. That crucifix is an expression of your faith, and therefore that is the state imposition of religion on these poor, unsuspecting children. I mean, you think that's silly? This is where they're going.
Yeah, well, but this is what he wants. I mean, and the other thing is freedom from religion. That is a religion because you believe in atheism. So you have a faith that there is no God.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for the call, Michael. That's right. Secular humanism is the religion of choice, and that actually is being imposed by the state. Candace in DuPage.
These people should do civil disobedience. I am so sick of people like him, little weasels. Sorry. They really should just say, we're going to do what we want to do and let the cards fall if you can. And then, wouldn't this go to Supreme Court, Dan, if something like this were to happen?
Yeah, I think you can make a case. I mean, I know he distinguished between the prayer before a legislative session and the New York case I mentioned. I think you can make a pretty good case for this. Thanks for the call, Candace. Zach in Westmont.
I just believe that this is all a bunch of crap. If somebody wants to pray, then pray. If you don't like it, then go away. I mean, I can't understand how people want to put their viewpoints on other people and not let them do what they want to do. I do believe I still live in America, right?
Yeah, but there's
Thanks for the call, Zach.
there are prayer snitches out there. Just remember.
That kind of common sense has no place in modern-day America. Judy in Lamont.
Hi, I just want to say all is not lost. Last night I was at an event, and a school in a south suburb down here by me had a beautiful concert choir, and they sang religious songs, and I don't think any snitches were there.
Wonderful. Where was it? I want the address. I want the names of individuals.
And
I will get that to you, but I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But we sat there, and I was thinking as I'm listening to this, I'm like, is this real? How are they not getting in trouble? And all those thoughts that we were talking about are going through my head. And I'm like, this is so beautiful, and we were so appreciative. And the kids were, young, and they were into it, and they just wanted to sing, and they wanted to sing how they were singing, and it was just beautiful.
It sounds horrible.
All is not lost.
Sounds horribly oppressive. Thanks for the call, Judy.
Okay. Yeah.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Some sunshine coming through those clouds. It's going to be a beautiful day, a high of 54 degrees. Then tonight, a brief shower or two. And Saturday looks like this. It's going to be mostly cloudy. We can't rule out a passing shower. The temperature tying the record from 1877, a high of 61 degrees. And on Sunday, even warmer. We could have a record high of 67 degrees and some light rain. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. If you're going to your school's Christmas concert tonight, don't take the inbound Kennedy, at least not right now. It is a mess from Foster all the way downtown. No particular reason at the moment that we know of. It's an hour and 20 minutes to get from O'Hare to the Burn Circle. 56 minutes from Montrose, 43 in the Express. Outbound, just a 6-minute delay Montrose to Sayre. Eden's about 25 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 26. The Eisenhower, 57 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound a delay-free 29. Stevenson, 57 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 33 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive is a pretty good alternate. It's heavy Belmont to Fullerton, but it's lighter than it's been all week. It's an alternate to the Kennedy. Northbound, it is stop and go from the Stevenson to Jackson. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
If you've thought about buying a MyPillow, do it now. We still have the buy one, get one free offer, but you'll also get a 60-day money-back guarantee. So basically, you can try MyPillow risk-free. You have nothing to lose and could be enjoying your best sleep ever. Don't take it from me. Take it from Philip.
I had a problem where I was waking up every night in the middle of the night and had a hard time going back to sleep. And to be frank, I haven't had that sleep disturbance since I received MyPillow.
So be like Philip and get a pillow right now, 2 for the price of 1, so you can keep one for yourself and give someone the gift of a great night's sleep. It's washable. It's the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation, and it is American-made. So call right now, 2 pillows for the price of 1, plus that 60-day money-back guarantee. Visit MyPillow.com. Type in Amy in the promo code over there on the left-hand side. Do it now. This offer is for a limited time. 800-489-0201 or online at MyPillow.com.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Call Quicken Loans now to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. And for 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the 2nd year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
I had fantastic results with the Andro 400 Max. Probably lost 35 pounds. And more impressive than that was the inches I lost off of my belly and my waist. And the increased energy is fantastic.
Andro 400 Max, the best all-natural testosterone booster. Gain energy, lose belly fat. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
This is Dan Proft with an Upstream Idea, brought to you in part by the Illinois Policy Institute. 97. That's the percentage of Chicago Teachers Union members who voted yes in a recent mock vote. Yes, they voted. They are prepared to go out on strike for the 2nd time in 4 years. The annual average CPS teacher salary is just under $80,000. And that's before you include their health insurance benefits and guaranteed 7-figure pension. The bankrupt, junk-rated Chicago public schools spend more than $15,000 annually per pupil, and yet 75% of 4th and 8th graders are neither proficient in reading nor math. This in a system of nearly 400,000 students. So who's the bad guy here? Is it the teachers union or the mayor's office? Yes, there are no white hats in the story of central planners from City Hall fighting with the central planners from the teachers union over who gets to be the lead central planner at CPS. If the teachers strike, they deserve to be unlocked from their jobs. CPS students deserve access to schools that will give them the opportunity to earn an education that sets them on a course for success in life. The only way that happens is if the adults inside CPS, the parents, and the adults outside CPS, state political leaders, change the flow of money away from central planners and to families so that they may make the same choices for their children that Tiny Dancer did for his kids matriculating at the University of Chicago Lab School. For more ideas like this, visit upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Proft.
And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
How does economic inequality emerge in a free society? From a bunch of win-win transactions. When J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter books, she created something of value, a bunch of great stories that millions of people willingly and happily paid $20 a piece for. Now, what happened to inequality as a result? It grew. Rawlings became a billionaire, while her fans saw their income stay the same and their wealth go down by a tiny amount, $20. Inequality grew, but everyone was better off as a result. That's the way inequality arises under freedom, and that's why it should. For more, see my book with Don Watkins, Equal is Unfair, America's Misguided Fight Against Income Inequality. Visit ARIradio.com. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ARIradio.com.
Why are Ayn Rand's ideas so compelling? Her worldview, her philosophy, expressed dramatically in her novels Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, embodies the ideals stated by the Founding Fathers in the Declaration of Independence and sets forth the requirements necessary to achieve a flourishing life. She called her philosophy objectivism and said it was a philosophy for living on Earth. Today, decades after her death, objectivism continues to stir debate and inspire passion for the spirit of individualism and the enduring American dream.
AM 560, The Answer.
Text from 708 with respect to the prayer on the football field controversy in Naperville. Don't call it prayer. Say you're having a conversation with your friend in the sky. Ooh, good workaround. It's pretty good. Very nice. All right, we got to feed some kids this holiday season so we can feel better about ourselves.
Yeah, it's always good to give. Tis the season for giving.
It's
That's
the
what
right
I
thing
say.
to do. It's the right thing to do.
Hey, I finally saw that Walmart commercial with the kids. It was during my Dolly Parton movie last night, and thank you. And that was sweet. I brought a tear to my eyes when the kids, they asked them, what do you want for Christmas, and would you feel better giving a gift to someone or getting one for yourself? And they said, no, I want to give a gift. So they picked out gifts for kids in need.
I would have teared up as well, but I've had my tear ducts removed. I don't have the ability to convey human emotion. But Feed the Children does. They are a nonprofit organization that is focused on providing resources to families affected by poverty. And we're trying to feed 18,000 children in the Chicagoland area this year. A couple of ways to do it. One is to make a contribution of any amount that will go to provide a 25-pound box of food filled with non-perishable items like canned goods, peanut butter, pasta, and cereals to those in need. They also get a 10-pound box of essentials like toiletries, cleaning supplies, and the like. So you can make a contribution of any amount. We recommend $76. That'll feed 19 children. But any amount is good. 866-435-2248 is the number to call to make a donation of any amount. Or you can go to our website, 560theanswer.com, and search the keyword feed. Or you can, if you're using our mobile app, just use on the AM 560 mobile app, just click on the button that says Help Feed Chicago's Hungry Children. Help Feed Chicago's Hungry Children. The button on our mobile app, but there's another way to help, Amy.
Yeah, you can become a business benefactor, a one-time donation, $2,500, tax deductible. All the money goes to Feed the Children. Then we will give you 40 one-minute commercials as a way of saying thanks. Call Michael Mann, 847-871-1527. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We will measure the carbon footprint of Mark Stein when the great Mark Stein joins us at 8:08.
But first, here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, the search begins for a new Chicago police superintendent. 4 men busted in an Aurora, a drug deal gone bad, and the Bulls edge the Clippers. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. Is it a dive for a drive? Investigators probing the San Bernardino massacre are at a lake, looking for evidence, maybe a computer hard drive, possibly dumped by the 2 killers after the terror attack before police took them out.
This is a man-made lake or pond. It's about 2 miles north of where the shooting took place. FBI dive teams will resume their search here today. The good news is it's relatively shallow, no currents, relatively warm water, but this search could take several days.
Fox's William LaJeunesse. Now that attack that left 14 people dead prompted Donald Trump's call for a temporary ban on Muslims coming to America.
I think everybody, and especially other Republicans, need to stand up and really say, enough, you've gone too far.
That's Democratic presidential frontrunner Hillary Clinton on NBC's Late Night Show. Republicans are split in a new Wall Street Journal NBC poll.
39% oppose, 38% are for it. However, those numbers change dramatically when viewed among all Americans. 57% oppose the idea, while less than half of that, 25%, support it.
That's Fox Business Network's Blake Berman. Now, another poll just out gives Trump a bigger lead in New Hampshire's Republican race. He's up to 27%. He just got an endorsement from a New England police union. Trump promising, if elected,
anybody killing a police officer, death penalty. It's going to happen, okay?
Now, Chris Christie has surged to second in that WBUR poll at 12%. There's a big business deal going down today. Fox's Gernal Scott details it live.
Dave, the merger between Dow Chemical and DuPont is of great interest to the agricultural community. Both companies specialize in producing chemicals for a range of products. The $130 billion deal is expected to close before mid-2016 and bring more than $1 billion of additional industry revenue, but federal regulators have to sign off on the deal before any of that happens.
Gernal on Wall Street, stock futures are tumbling this morning, suggesting a sell-off at the opening bell in a half hour. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Sunshine, 43 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. More protests in Chicago, keeping up pressure on Mayor Rahm Emanuel and others involved in the Laquan McDonald shooting and how it was handled. AM 560's David Stewart with the latest.
At City Hall, a group of medical students staged a die-in to call for Mayor Emanuel to resign. Meanwhile, a group called the Coalition for a New Chicago is backing a bill that would allow Chicago voters to recall Mayor Emanuel. Gregory Livingston spoke for them.
This is just really to take the pulse of the people and let them know. But once the bill is passed, we need approximately 85,000 signatures and 2 city councilmen to sign off.
And a small group of activists gathered on Federal Plaza to present information on 50 police-involved shootings to the U.S. Attorney General's office, claiming those were covered up as well. David Stewart, Chicago.
Republican presidential candidate Ben Carson called the police shooting of Laquan McDonald despicable. Carson speaking after a closed-door meeting with Chicago pastors yesterday.
That represents a failure of government, and everybody loses in a situation like that. The community loses, the state loses, the nation loses. We simply cannot condone this kind of activity. We cannot sweep it under the rug.
Carson stopped short of calling for Mayor Rahm Emanuel to resign. Chicago's launching a nationwide search for its next police superintendent. Applications will be taken until mid-January. 4 are in custody after they were accused of carrying 157 pounds of pot in an SUV in Aurora. Detectives say the driver was from Bolingbrook. 3 other suspects were also arrested. They've been charged with drug trafficking. Chicago sports, Bulls beat the L.A. Clippers last night, 83-80. Patrick Kane extended his franchise record points scoring streak to 24 games in a 5-1 loss to Nashville. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network, here's Pat O'Neill.
From the Fox Business Network, Wall Street facing another possible down day with futures lower ahead of the opening bell. The Dow picked up 83 points yesterday, but the recent drop in oil prices continues to hurt international markets. Most Asian markets closed lower. In Europe, Britain's FT 100 appears to be headed for its 7th straight losing session. Crude is down again almost 1.5% today after the International Energy Agency forecast lower demand in the months ahead. Many investors are looking ahead to next week's Federal Reserve meeting. Reports on retail sales and consumer sentiment out later today. Most analysts expect policymakers to boost interest rates. DuPont and Dow Chemical have confirmed that they have agreed to merge in what would create a $130 billion chemical giant. The deal is expected to be completed in the second half of next year. The new company will be called Dow DuPont. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Pat O'Neill.
8:05 in Chicago. Check of traffic and weather next on AM 560.
This is Michelle DeVal from DeVal Jewelers. Dennis and I want you to know that when you sell your diamonds, gold, silver, platinum, and estate jewelry to us, we will strive to give you the highest cash payment possible.
And all transactions are strictly confidential. There's absolutely no pressure. And like Michelle said, we can pay you 50% more by eliminating the middleman. Why? Because we are direct buyers.
We buy certified diamonds and engagement rings, 1/2 carat and above, broken and used gold jewelry, estate jewelry, gold and silver coins, and more. more. We really do understand the sentimental value and pledge to be considerate, knowledgeable, and private.
We have been Chicagoland's family jeweler for over 100 years. We take pride in having the perfect jewelry selection for every budget and taste preference.
We're just south of the Kennedy on Harlem Avenue in Harwood Heights. Call us at 708-867-8200. That's 708-867-8200 or visit DAVALLE.com.
The Val Jewelers, more bling
and less sting.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Call Quicken Loans now to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. And for 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the second year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
Are you embarrassed by your tired old blinds? When you think about replacing them, do you feel overwhelmed? Then go to Blinds.com, the world's #1 online blind store. There's a huge selection right at your fingertips. You can watch helpful videos or get a free design consultation. And they have brand new offers each week. So go to Blinds.com, replace those old blinds, and hold your head up high, America. Go to Blinds.com or call 888-4BLINDS. That's 888-4-BLINDS. Call or go to Blinds.com today.
8:07 in our Chicago RadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy has heavy delays from Foster to the Burn Circle. It's an hour and 10 minutes from O'Hare to downtown, 46 minutes from Montrose, 37 on the Express, outbound 26 minutes downtown to O'Hare with the delays Montrose to Sayre. The Edens, just 23 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. The Eisenhower, 54 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 39. Stevenson, 52 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, it's good. To Ryan, looking at 33 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive delays are southbound Bryn Mawr to North Avenue and 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State stop and goes 75th to 47th, and from the Reagan Tollway to 290. Adams Tollway very slow, Beverly 59. Crash blocking the exit ramp. Then slow Higgins to Meacham, and from the Des Plaines Oasis to Lee. Veterans Memorial stop and go out into the Reagan Tollway. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
A mix of sun and some clouds today with patchy fog, a high 53, then a mostly cloudy night with a brief shower or two, along with patchy fog, a low 47. Tomorrow, patchy fog continuing, otherwise mostly cloudy with a shower, high of 60. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
43 and sunshine at O'Hare. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Tasty Catering. Companies trust Tasty Catering's amazing staff and delicious menus for their holiday parties. Visit tastycatering.com today.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
The more information that people have about Sergeant Bergdahl, his motivation, the better.
I was trying to prove to the world I am I don't know, Jason Bourne.
Donald Trump's decision to cancel or at least indefinitely postpone his trip to Israel is being greeted here with a sigh of relief.
I didn't want to put him under pressure, number one. I also did it because I'm in the midst of a very powerful campaign.
So you would vote for him as an independent?
Yes, I would.
Why?
I like his ideas. It's the same ideas as I have.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson. Amy, the last time we had Mark Stein on, it was about his book, Disgrace to the Profession. Talking about his book, Disgrace to the Profession, where he kind of put the climate alarmist language in black and white and measured it against what we know to be true versus what they predicted would happen or is happening. We're going to talk about climate alarmism because of the Paris conference, because of Mark Stein.
Because that's the best way to fight terrorism and ISIS.
Thank you, Senator Sanders. And also because he testified on Capitol Hill on Tuesday and had a very entertaining exchange with Senator Ed Markey from Massachusetts. But there's the softer side to Mark Stein.
Oh, I think we know.
There's a side that I know you'll particularly appreciate because he is a cat lover.
He is?
Oh, yeah, his CD. Now, he's had a successful Christmas album before.
We've played it.
He's a crooner. Yeah. He's a playwright. He is a bon vivant. He is a raconteur. His last Christmas album, 2011, was wildly successful. He's got another one called Feline Groovy. That's for this Christmas. It's dedicated to his cat Marvin, Amy, who's on the cover of the CD, Feline Groovy. Why don't we hear a little bit of this tribute to Simon and Garfunkel?
Slow down, you move too fast. You gotta make the morning last. Kicking down the cobblestones, looking for fun, the feline groovy. Feline groovy.
Well, his cat is so cute. I'm looking at the cover right now.
Very, very nice. I mean,
songs for swinging cats.
I'll tell you. And we are now
pleased
to be joined by the man for all seasons.
His cat is drinking
even if we don't have seasons anymore.
No, but his cat's drinking a Catini. Get it?
I do get that. He is Mark Stein. Mark, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, great to be with you, Dad. Hi, Amy. I can't get over the way when Simon and Garfunkel did Feline Groovy, they mispronounced that one syllable all the way through the song. I finally corrected it after all these years.
I'm sure they appreciate it. There's no question about it. To talk a little bit more, to get more of the musical stylings of Mark Stein, but we have to talk about climate alarmism. And unfortunately, Mark, as you know, you've been on Chicago airwaves a lot over the years. You know that, unfortunately, for some reason, despite mathematical improbabilities, we are the incubator for all kinds of left-wing kooks. And not just candidates for office, not just presidents of the United States, but also accomplished actors like Harrison Ford. I want to play this clip of Harrison Ford. I don't know what the heck is going on in the Park Ridge schools because Harrison Ford is a Maine East grad. Hillary Clinton was a Maine South grad. Here's Harrison Ford talking about climate change.
And if we don't work together, the consequences are disastrous. Not right now, but for our children and our children's children and the future of humanity, the planet will be okay. There just won't be any damn people on it.
Mark,
oh my God.
Mark, I mean, but that sounds to me like the solution. Han Solo has the solution. By the way, he took off in the Millennium Falcon after giving an interview. But but I thought that was the point. Get rid of the people, and there's no problem with the planet.
Yeah, I know. People publish books now saying that we are the problem. A couple of years ago, it got rave reviews in the New York Times and all the rest of it. A guy published this book called A World Without Us, showing a beautiful planet after we've all died. I don't understand. Harrison Ford is off message here because most of the climate people say we need to reduce the population from the present 7 billion down to about 1 billion. That's what would be sustainable. He'd be there, Harrison Ford. You'd probably also have Scarlett Johansson going through the wilderness in a nice dugout canoe in a fur bikini, and so there'd be Harrison, there'd be Scarlett, there'd be Al Gore, there'd be John Kerry, there'd be Senator Ed Markey from Massachusetts, but the other 6 billion troublemakers, they'd be gone. And so Harrison Ford wanting to save all these people is a bit off message here.
Well, frankly, I don't want to live in that world, so I'm happy to go.
Well, I don't know. I'd sign up for the climate alarmism if it was Scarlett Johansson in a fur bikini. But
well, tell me about your time on Capitol Hill and with Senator Cruz.
Well, I was invited to testify, and I must say it was funny because it was basically 4 scientists and me. And Ted Cruz has impeccable comic timing, brilliant comic timing, because he read out the introductions, and everyone else is, Professor Emeritus at Princeton, head of the Department of Earth Sciences, former chair of the this and that, and then he gets to me and he goes, Mark Stein is an international best-selling author and a top 5 best-selling jazz vocalists, and at that point, I was actually number 1 on the Amazon's number 1 jazz vocalist. I was about to leap to my feet and say, "Objection! I demand the record be corrected."
That's right.
But I thought it was a bit early in the proceedings to start doing that. But I think it's an interesting glimpse into the psychology of the left, because Harrison Ford is an actor, so he's qualified to speak on climate change. Leonardo DiCaprio is an actor, so he gets a one-on-one summit with John Kerry to outline his plans for the ocean. But suddenly the left is going bananas because a top 5 best-selling jazz vocalist is testifying on climate change. You know, why can't, if the left can have its celebrity airheads, why can't I be the right showbiz airhead?
I think they were upset because you pushed Michael Mann back to 6th on the best-selling jazz vocalist list. I think that's what they were upset about.
Yeah, that's right. His claim to fame is, he was the consultant for James Cameron's appalling TV show that was on the climate scare, which had Jessica Alba in, and I started referring to Michael Mann for a long time as Jessica Alba's personal climatologist, and so I don't understand why, as I said, I don't understand why only the left can have showbiz airheads. So I'm happy to be the showbiz airhead for the right, and like the showbiz airheads of the left, I pontificate on world affairs. Like Harrison Ford and Leonardo DiCaprio, I'm a showbiz airhead saving the planet.
But unlike them, you undress U.S. senators like you did Ed Markey, at least intellectually undress them. I don't want to create disturbing images, but I love the exchange, the part of the exchange where you had just had enough of the bull jive that was emanating, the emissions, if you will, from Senator Markey and some of his colleagues, and asked him if he knew what the winters were like in Plymouth Rock. Why did you go that direction?
Well, because he brought up the snowfall in Boston. The snowfall in Boston is entirely irrelevant unless you know what the snowfall in Massachusetts was like a century ago and 2 centuries ago, when the world was emerging from the Little Ice Age. I pushed back. I was interested to be told. I mean, to be frank, I don't want to have a whiff of anti-Americanism here, but I can't understand the point of throwing off George III to prostrate yourself before a guy like Senator Markey and treat him like he's a Gulf emir. And he had basically, I'd been told to respect the dignity of the Senate, and I would have done if there was any dignity, but he basically insulted the 3 scientists sitting next to me. And then when Judith Curry attempted to respond, he said to her, "I didn't ask you a question." So I said, "Well, you've just impugned her integrity, Senator. She's entitled to respond." That's not the rules of the Senate. That's the rules of life. A man, as opposed to a puffed-up senatorial blowhard, doesn't do that and then deny the person, then say, "Oh, well, the Senate rules mean that I can insult Judith Curry, but she's not allowed to ask a question." So Judith and I sort of tag-teamed, peppering this guy with... We basically questioned the senator instead of the senator questioning us, and apparently that's never been done in 200 years. So I hope we don't leave it another 200 years before somebody does it again.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, what did you take away then from your time there?
Well, what I took away is that I'm willing to support any presidential candidate who pledges that his first executive order will be to abolish the Senate.
Now,
New Zealand, a few years ago, New Zealand abolished its Senate and became a unicameral legislature, and I think that's the kind of forward-looking policy America needs.
Yeah, we need some New Zealand exceptionalism here, is what you're saying.
That's right.
Now, there's another problem I want to direct your attention to. This comes to us over the pond. I know that climate change, I mean, there's this raging debate in terms of climate change being the greatest threat to Western civilization or radical Islamic terrorism. But there's another threat.
Uh-oh, what?
I don't know if you're aware of this, and this comes to us from Dame Sally Davies, who is the nation's chief medical officer over there in the UK. Obesity in women is is as dangerous as the terror threat. So says Dame Sally Davies. What do you make of that, Mark Stein?
Well, I mean, I certainly think that if I certainly think they're related. I mean, once you get to
Once you
a
get
certain,
fat, you don't go back.
you can't strap the suicide bomb on if you got. I mean, that. I mean, it's murder. You know, we've had. You get the old. You order the Semtex belt, and it comes, and you've been putting on the pounds, and you can't put it around you. I mean, that is becoming a real issue, and I agree. There are the long-term health consequences. I mean, if you can get it on, it's great because there's a lot more exploding flesh to take out the eye of anybody around. But yes, I think she's addressing the real issue here, which is that obesity discriminates against female suicide bombers. I certainly hope there will be. I think Bernie Sanders would be on board with that too. That seems to be his view of the problem.
It seems to me that you're likely to get an invite to address the British Parliament, given your understanding of the importance of this issue.
Yeah, that's true. I think after Senator Markey, I think the House of Lords could use a flea in the ear about some of this stuff too.
Mark Stein, best-selling author, best-selling jazz musician. His Christmas album this year, Feline Groovy, dedicated to his cat Marvin.
And real quick, how were you able to get your cat to pose for that picture?
Well, actually, yeah, the cat needed a hell of a lot of martini. I tell you, next album, I'm getting a union cat. I said, I'm not working with you again.
And
we're getting Leonardo DiCaprio's cat from the Screen Actors Guild. He's much more professional.
You're going to have to pay him scale, though, so you're going to have to sell more albums. More
That's
CDs.
right. That's right.
Mark Stein, the Christmas album, Feline Groovy. Pick it up. You can always check out Mark Stein online, steinonline.com, and pick up any number of the books that he's written, including his most recent, Disgrace to the Profession. Mark Stein, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, Dan. Thanks, Amy. Always a pleasure.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Sunshine to start your big fun Friday. We're going to have a high of 54 degrees tonight, a brief shower, and then on Saturday, mostly cloudy, a shower or two, a high of 61 degrees. And on Sunday for the Bears-Washington Redskins game, yes, I said the name, it's going to be windy, and there's going to be rain on and off throughout the day. But we're going to have a record high of 67 degrees. Let's get the travel times. Any good news there, Jim Telemonte?
Little bit, Amy. The heavy spot this morning has been the inbound Kennedy, and it's improved a little bit. Still really slow, Foster into downtown. An hour from O'Hare to the Burns Circle. At one point, it was an hour and 20 minutes. 40 minutes is the travel time from Montrose, 27 on the Express. Outbound, just a 4-minute delay, Central to Sayre. Edens, 24 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 23. The Eisenhower now an hour and 5 minutes from Thorndale to downtown, 49 minutes from Manheim. Outbound, it is slow, Austin to First Avenue, about a 6-minute delay there. Stevenson is 52 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, it's fine. Ryan, 33 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive now very heavy southbound, Bryn Mawr to North Avenue. 40 minutes, Hollywood to Monroe. Northbound stop and go from the Stevenson to Jackson. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
Guys, do you want to outdo yourself this Christmas? Surprise her with a gift especially designed for fans of Downton Abbey. Weekend? What's a weekend? How do you like this? Is my Maggie Smith getting better?
Keep going.
I'm talking about the all-new Downton Abbey PJs available exclusively at Pajamagram. Thank you. They've created... We need to get the walls in here painted Downton Abbey red. Call Aaron Schock's guy. They have created 3 styles inspired by the hit series' distinctive cast, including the fashion-forward Lady Mary, the sweet, flirty Lady Rose, and the elegant Lady Cora. I'm more of a Lady Rose, but I find the pajamas bunch up on me a little bit. You know what I mean?
Little binding.
Yeah, a little binding. Yeah. Just imagine how much fun she'll have watching her favorite show in character with rich fabrics, aristocratic details, and 20s design inspiration. These PJs will make her feel like a true Crawley. As a deluxe touch, all PJs arrive in a coordinating satin gift envelope. Meow. Buy the whole collection and save over $70. No need to worry about choosing the wrong style or size because all PJs by Pajamagram are backed by a Love It guarantee. Order your special lady or fella. Downton Abbey PJs today at pajamagram.com. You don't even have to wrap because every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging. Christmas delivery is guaranteed. Visit pajamagram.com or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs and tell them Dan and Amy sent you.
Haters gonna hate. Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
It's an exciting time here at the Highland Park Superstore.
That's right, Al. There's never been a better time to buy.
All of our incredible cars.
All at the lowest prices of the year.
No gimmicks, no slick sales talk.
No goofy spokesman.
No big inflatable apes at the dealership. Just great cars at great prices.
You sure about the inflatable ape? I like those.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Maybe just a little one.
Can someone get Marty a monkey? This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
We're here reporting live from Santa's workshop. Santa, thanks for taking time in the busiest season of the year.
Oh, we stay busy all year round.
How do you stay so busy without getting sick?
That's easy. My elves and I take Balance of Nature.
Balance of Nature? What's that?
Using the magic of modern technology, Balance of Nature has taken whole fruits and vegetables and stuffed them into little capsules.
And they keep you healthy?
Works for me. What do you think, Gimbal?
Well, I take it, and I haven't had a sick day in over 3,000 years.
So make sure to stuff your stockings with Balance of Nature fruits and veggies.
There you have it from the man himself. Stuff your stockings with Balance of Nature fruits and veggies to stay healthy all year round. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO to get a free stocking stuffer with your first order.
Have a Merry Christmas and a healthy New Year.
AM 560, The Answer.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Is that Mark Stein? Oh, no. It's not Mark Stein. But he did sing this song on his Christmas album. Speaking of Christmas, we have teamed up.
That is Mark Stein.
It is Mark Stein?
Yeah.
Listen.
Can't you hear Marvin in the background? This cat Marvin purring.
'Tis the season for giving, and we here at AM 560 have teamed up once again for our 7th year now with Feed the Children. They're a 501c3 tax-exempt organization, Dan. They were founded in 1979, and their mission is to provide hope and resources for families who are affected by poverty and families that are in need. You know, 1 in 5 children, think about it, 1 in 5 children face the prospect of hunger on a regular basis. And hunger doesn't take a holiday. That's why we're asking for a one-time donation of $76 that will help feed 16 hungry children this holiday season. You can do that by simply calling this number, 866-435-2248, or visit 560theanswer.com. Search for the keyword feed. But there's also other ways to help.
Yeah, the other way to help is the special program that's been created for business owners or anyone involved in marketing a business. This is our business benefactor program. With this program, any business that makes a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Feed the Children receives in return 40 60-second commercials that will run Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., right here in these airwaves, AM 560 The Answer. So you want to get involved with that program, as many, many businesses have, many of our generous business supporters and listeners, and we appreciate them all. Call sales manager Michael Mann directly at 847-871-1527. Not the Michael Mann who's the bête noir of Mark Stein. This is our Michael Mann.
Yeah.
Our personal hero, Michael Mann.
Our guy.
Our inspiration. He makes this all worth it, Michael Mann.
He does.
Michael Mann, give him a call directly, 847-871-1527, and ask to participate in the Business Benefactor Program. He'll get you rolled in. Or you can just text the word FEED to our turnkey.pro text line, 64636. And you'll be prompted to enlist.
And do it sooner rather than later because spots are filling up quickly. We'd like to thank some of our business benefactors, Grandview Capital, Tallgrass Restoration, Meg Schmidt Consulting, there's Lindholm Roofing, the list goes on and on and on. So if you're on the fence deciding whether I should or I shouldn't, now's the time to help. All of the money goes to help the needy, and it will also help your business get noticed. Take your business to the next level. Michael Mann, he's standing by. He's ready for your phone call. 847-871-1527.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Lately, it seems you're not feeling quite right, as if your body is working against you. Dr. Amy and Associates can help create a path to achieve optimal health. Experience personalized health care for your mind, body, and spirit at a practice that blends holistic and traditional medicine.
Hi, I'm Dr. Amy Harris-Nuon. I'm Dr. Amy and Associates. We take a team approach to your care. As an integrative and holistic healthcare practice, we look at the whole person, body, mind, and spirit. We've got a wonderfully talented team of providers, family medicine, chiropractic, traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture, counselors, psychiatrists that's centered on your health and your wellness. We'll blend the best of Western medicine with the best of Eastern medicine. There's a time and a place for all forms of healing, and that's what we specialize in.
Call Dr. Amy and Associates to experience a whole-person integrative approach to health and wellness. 630-980-1400 or visit dramyandassociates.com. Dr. Amy and Associates, empowering people, changing lives.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home, then you need to do what Amy did, who's now a proud homeowner, when she needed a mortgage, and that's call David Hochberg at Pro Mortgage. Sal, a veteran with 100% service-related disability, heard David's ad about Illinois' new law exempting veterans with service-related disabilities of 70% or greater from paying real estate taxes. So it is a good program and a smart one, deserved one for our veterans. Saul called to thank David for the information and convert his 30-year VA loan into a 15-year loan. Because of the real estate tax exemption, Saul's new mortgage payment is less than his previous payment, and Saul's saving tens of thousands of dollars paying his home off faster. If you're a veteran who's no longer paying real estate taxes because you took advantage of the real estate tax exemption like Sal, and you'd like to reduce the term of your loan, do what Sal did and Amy did. Call David, 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333. Or visit am560david.com. That website again, am560david.com. David's helped Sal and Amy and thousands of AM560 listeners, but he can't help you if you don't call. So call David now, 312-751-1333. That number, 312-751-1333. Pro Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358, licensed by DBO under California RMLA NMLS 19186. ProMortgage.com/licensing.
AM 560.
The answer. The mood is right. The spirit's up.
Throughout December, we're celebrating Christmas here at AM 560 by helping you build your own Christmas playlist. This month, we're offering 12 days of Christmas music when you use the AM 560 mobile app on your smartphone. If you don't have the app, go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download it. And once you have it, just open the app. And today, we are giving away what song, Dan?
I don't like the Beatles.
This song, Paul McCarthy.
Paul McCarthy or Paul McCartney?
Paul McCarthy.
Paul McCartney. He's the
Yes,
Beatle.
Paul
McCarthy.
McCartney.
I think he was the Chicago police chief.
That would be Gary.
Wonderful Christmas Time by Paul McCartney, which you can add to your own personal Christmas playlist. Check the app again on Monday when the free music download on the AM560 mobile app will be Santa Baby by LeAnn Rimes. Now, LeAnn Rimes I like. Merry Christmas from AM560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer. What's going to be on, Dan?
Well,
you just tell me.
Just a little notice for Trump supporters. Ready? We want to hear from Trump supporters because you've been targeted for elimination by the head of the Colorado ACLU. We'll have that at 8:38.
But first, let's say hello again to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. We're watching a couple of developing stories. One, this morning in the capital of Afghanistan, there are reports of a possible major insurgent attack there. There's been a large explosion and gunfire in a building attached to the Spanish embassy. Security officials in Geneva say public events there, including a popular costume parade, will go ahead as planned this weekend, in spite of heavy security and an ongoing hunt for suspects believed to be linked to ISIS. The Geneva Department of Security says the level of vigilance remains unchanged, and Geneva police continue hunting for at least 4 suspects allegedly linked to the Islamic State terror group. Foreigners who enter the U.S. from Mexico will now have their faces and eyes scanned. The federal government trying to crack down on those who overstay visas. By the way, in February, it will start collecting the same information on foreigners walking into Mexico through that checkpoint near San Diego. The investigation into the shootings that left 14 dead last week continues in San Bernardino, California. An FBI dive team is searching a small lake again today. Dow Chemical and DuPont trying to merge forming a colossus of a chemical company worth $130 billion. More protests in Chicago, keeping up the pressure on Mayor Rahm Emanuel and others involved in the Laquan McDonald shooting. Meantime, family members of Laquan McDonald are expected to break their silence and speak publicly today at Chicago's Grace Memorial Baptist Church. Chicago sports, Bulls over the Clippers 83-80. Nashville beat the Blackhawks 5-1, and the news is a service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving, supporting victims of drunk driving, drug driving, and underage drinking at no charge. Call their 24-hour victim helpline, 877-MAD-HELP, or visit mad.org. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer is the top choice of doctors and nurses nationwide and should be yours. With one scan to the forehead, Exergen Temporal Scanner provides an accurate temperature, stress-free. Available at Walgreens.
The door opens at Midlothian Music. And just like that, you're a customer for life. With their huge inventory of hundreds of guitars, drum kits, and string instruments, they've got you covered. Midlothian Music, the largest American-made selection of handcrafted, name-brand instruments for every level of musician, and free lifetime in-house repair and service. Midlothian Music. After 54 years of success, they live and breathe music. Whether a beginner or a pro, Midlothian Music has the right equipment at the right price to make you a true rock star in your band or in your band. Talk to the pros in person 7 days a week. Midlothian Music, 708-403-3733, or visit midlothianmusic.com. That's midlothianmusic.com.
The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM 560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. If you have a pre-existing condition, a canceled plan, or your premium increased, now's the time to get covered. 2016 open enrollment begins on November 1st and ends on January 31st. During this 90-day window, you cannot be denied coverage. Depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. The new healthcare law is very complicated and you do need guidance. It costs you nothing to use a broker, so why not tap into my expertise?
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
8:37 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound side of the Edens Expressway, traffic is heavy approaching the junction. 23 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 20. Inbound Kennedy, stop and go Foster to the Burn Circle. 1 hour from O'Hare to downtown, 40 minutes from Montrose, 23 in the Express. Outbound, just a 2-minute delay Central to Sayre. Inbound Eisenhower, jammed now, St. Charles to the Tri-State and 17th to Sacramento. 1 hour and 20 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. 1 hour and 2 minutes from Manheim. Outbound, just a 2-minute delay from Harlem to First Avenue. Stevenson is 50 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound clear. Orion 33 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive has big delays from Bryn Mawr to North Avenue. Northbound slow from Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State stop and go from Stevenson to 47th and the Reagan Tollway to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Sunshine and clouds, high 54. Brief shower kicking up overnight, low 49. Sunshine and 44 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, don't be caught without the facts. Listen to me, Sean Hannity, this afternoon at 2, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so overheated rhetoric is not the sole province of one Donald Trump. This from the ACLU co-chair in Colorado, the American Civil Liberties Union. Loring Werble.
What's his name?
Loring Werble.
Loring Werble.
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Werble.
It's so mean-spirited, and it's Christmas. He said this. The thing is, we have to really reach out to those who might consider voting for Trump and say, this is Goebbels. This is the final solution. If you are voting for him, I will have to shoot you before Election Day.
I will have to shoot you before. And where did he make this comment?
Oh, he tweeted it. Yeah.
Oh, really? Put it on social media. Did he a call to arms there? So everybody should take action against people voting for Trump.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
He also suggested Trump should go to jail for hate speech. He's calling for Trump supporters, Trump voters, to be shot, and Trump should go to jail for hate speech. Brought to you by the American Civil Liberties Union. The irony lost on Mr. Werble, apparently. There's also...
Because he's the definition of hate speech.
Yeah, and you may want to take note of this other opportunity, the Donald Trump Facebook page. Yeah. Right, if you've liked the Donald Trump Facebook page.
Have you looked at it yet, Dan?
No, I haven't. How is it?
It's hot. It's just Donald everywhere.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
Well, this could be a tool for Loring Werble and his friends who are the non-Goebbels ones. They're the not Goebbels ones that want to execute Trump voters. Got it. Okay. There's a new website, friendswholiketrumps.com, and what it does, it redirects you to your own Facebook search page where the search bar comes up that says, My Friends Who Like Donald Trump, and below the bar, you'll be able to see which of your friends have liked the Trump Facebook page. So you can organize your friends by those or separate out your friends who've liked the Donald Trump Facebook page. And then, if you're a member of the ACLU, you can target them for elimination between now and Election Day.
Please tell me he was suspended for that. Or at least did he delete that tweet or anything?
Mm-hmm.
Taken into the boss's office, maybe something? I mean, what should happen to this man? 312-642-5600. I mean, talk about hate speech and promoting violence.
Right.
That right there.
Right.
Quite irresponsible, I'd say.
I would say that's a little beyond the pale, don't you think? How would the left have treated Donald Trump, Sarah Palin, a conservative columnist, pick a conservative columnist, anybody on the center right if they had said something so ignorant as this chapter head, co-chair of the ACLU Colorado chapter? Whew. And in terms of why Trump's support continues to grow, there's this important survey that came out yesterday, New York Times CBS poll. Americans concerned about the likelihood of another terrorist attack has risen to a level not seen since the immediate aftermath of 9/11. Just 30 days ago, only 4% of Americans said terrorism was the most important problem. Now it's 1 in 5 in terms of issues that are effectively informing their vote and their support. And as that number has increased, Trump's numbers have increased, particularly in the early states. Very interesting to note. And what else is going to make those Trump numbers increase? Op-eds by Karl Rove in the Wall Street Journal that suggest Trump is the Democrats' dream nominee. Dream nominee, says Karl Rove. All the response to Trump from the establishment is very interesting because what does it do? It just feeds Trump's political positioning. It's incredible to me. I mean, I was a late adopter to not understanding the appeal of Trump, but believing that his appeal would have a long shelf life. I recognize it now. I understand the exasperation, frustration. I knew that going in, but I just didn't see people really viewing Trump as the vehicle for it. They clearly do, and the response to Trump by the establishment is dangerous, even if Trump is not the nominee, because you risk the danger of driving a lot of people out of voting in November, whoever the nominee is going to need. Sean in Elmwood Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
There's so many things going on here. First of all, to Karl Rove, Victoria's real secret. The dream candidate for the Democrat was Mitt Romney. was John McCain, was the flaccid Bob Dole. The dream Republican is the bearded boy Paul Ryan, who behind the scenes works to spend all of the money the Democrats want. Or old lady face Mitch McConnell, who is a rubber stamp for virtually everything the Democrats want. So the real dream for the Democrats is a moron like Karl Rove. Now, the ACLU, it's very important that for decades, the ACLU is just full of fellow travelers, and it be identified for what it is. It is a communist front group. Now, this whole thing where we're hearing more and more about how Donald Trump is a fascist and we're equating him to Hitler, there's only one thing that bothers me about this whole thing, is that there's no evidence of that. The despot is holding office. There's only one guy forcing us to buy all kinds of different products, committing us to spend all kinds of different money, controlling our country as if he were an oracle beyond reproach or questioning. There is a what I believe to be a delusional, schizophrenic president, Barack Hussein Obama, and he is supported by the corporatists who are becoming very, very rich and in control of everything under his power. So a guy like Trump, I don't like, but I'll run to go vote for him, because the one thing he has never done is force another citizen to do anything, when every one of these politicians force us all to do something we don't like on some level. Let's think about what's happening here.
Thanks for the call, Sean, and for the ACLU chapter president there. Just a little point of order that Loring Werble, just a point of order. Sean shoots back if you go after Sean. Quickly, Tom and Schomburg, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Thanks for taking my call. Just out of curiosity, isn't Karl Rove the guy that's backing Jeb Bush and his 3%?
Yeah,
that's the same guy.
That's the
maybe
guy.
Maybe Jeb should take his 3% and run on home to his wife, his Mexican American wife, have a long cry, and wake up tomorrow and do some shopping. Jeb can get himself a pink tutu, and his wife can get herself a poncho.
Okay, Tom. But in terms of Karl Rove is the same guy who had more money than he knew what to do with in his independent expenditure pack in 2012. American Crossroads was soliciting. They didn't know how to deploy the money to support Romney. This is the Karl Rove genius. Lee and Hammond.
Yeah, hi. I'd like to find out when Roberta Lynch and the Southern Poverty Law Center are going to start prosecuting some of these nut jobs on the left.
Good question.
I mean, the double standard here is it's unbelievable. I can't even believe what's going on. It's at a whole nother level now with Trump.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Today, mild sunshine mixing with some clouds, a high of 54 degrees. And wait for it, your weekend's going to be it's unseasonably warm. Saturday, we could hit a high of 61 degrees, which would break a record set back in 1877. But we can't rule out a passing shower. And then on Sunday, windy, temperature near a record high of 67 degrees with sporadic rain on and off throughout the day. Let's get the travel times. Any good news there, Jim Telemonte?
Some, Amy. In many places, it's lighter than normal. The Kennedy has improved a little, but it's still an hour from O'Hare to downtown. The delays are from Foster to the Burn Circle. Outbound, just a 2-minute delay central to Sayre. The Edens has a 5-minute delay inbound Foster to the junction. Outbound all clear. The inbound Eisenhower is a mess, starting around North Avenue. An hour and 22 minutes Thorndale to the post office. An hour and 2 minutes from Manheim. Outbound has cleared up. It's fine. Inbound Stevenson, 50 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound delay free. The Ryan, 33 minutes, 95 to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, some significant delays. Starting around Wilson, 35 minutes Hollywood to Monroe. Northbound slow from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State slow from the Stevenson to 47th. Eastbound Adams Tollway stop and go 25 to 59 and Roselle to Meacham. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
You heard me talking about the new website, upstream-ideas.com. If you haven't checked it out yet, then do so. Each week you can watch the latest episode of Against the Current. That's our long-form interview series with policymakers and opinion leaders. This week, in advance of the premiere of The Big Short, we talked to Bethany McLean. She's a CNBC contributor, Fortune magazine columnist who wrote the book Shaky Ground about the housing market 7 years after the bubble burst. Very informative interview. Thanks to Bethany. You can also watch Illinois by the Numbers, our video series that breaks down Illinois one number at a time to explain what the policy challenges are, why we have them, and what we can do about them. And you can check out highlights from each Sunday's Illinois Rising program, which tackles state and local politics and policy with deep thinkers from the Illinois Policy Institute and Illinois Opportunity Project. At Upstream Ideas, questions are asked that don't get asked anywhere else. Points of view are heard that are not heard anywhere else. No sacred cows, no punches pulled. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
I've been taking it, and I'm actually feeling better. I know that I'm not coughing anymore, and I was coughing all the time.
I notice my body feels better.
I have diabetes. I had my blood work done, and I had really good numbers.
I want to thank you for your product and all that. It's been great.
I got my kids taking them now. Got my parents taking them. My brothers, my best friends. Got everybody on them.
I love the product, and I love Dr. Howard. I trust him. I feel safe. I think his product is superb. I'm going to continue with it.
Get started early on your New Year's resolution with our best price of the year. Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Experience something completely different this Christmas season. Take your loved one to hear the music of Frank Sinatra and the rest of the Rat Pack from award-winning entertainer and impressionist Ron Hawking.
He's excellent. I've seen him. He's excellent.
Yeah, he's a good guy, and he's an excellent entertainer. So this
Summer wind.
Sing it, Dan. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
This Christmas spectacular will be taking place one night only, Saturday, December 20th. Write it down. Saturday, December 20th at Austin's Fuel Room in Libertyville. To get your tickets, simply visit 560theanswer.com. Search for the keyword Sinatra.
Your audiovisual experience is one that's supposed to be enjoyable. If your home or office lacks the big-time performance you really need, it's time to be shocked with options from Sound Design. Sound Design has the technical background to build it all. They know the value of seeing a project through to the end, and Sound Design will stick with you until you're satisfied, even post-job. Home theaters, office video, and Sound Design. Sure, you can go order equipment from a big box store, but then what? Yikes. Sound Design knows they set the industry standard. This is a company that will take a potential new customer to a current customer space to show off their handiwork. That's why people rave about audio and visual solutions from Sound Design. Be sure to get a demo of the Bang & Olufsen speakers, where sophisticated, sleek design meets amazing sound and function. You can visit sounddesigninc.com, but if you really want expert answers to your questions, call 630-548-7000. That's 630-548-7000. Sound Design, where quality service and installation makes the difference.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
No, you.
No, you.
No, really.
All right, Feed the Children. That's our annual campaign, 7 years running now. We partner with Feed the Children. Our goal this year to feed 18,000 children in the Chicagoland area. The money you contribute stays here to help families in need during the holidays. A donation of just $76 will help feed 16 hungry children this season. Each family receives a 25-pound box of food filled with non-perishable items, as well as a 10-pound box of essentials, toiletries, personal items, the like. There's two ways to become kind of a Father Flanagan this holiday season. One, make a contribution of any amount to Feed the Children by calling 866-435-2248. Or you can visit our website, 560theanswer.com, and search the keyword feed. Or you can just use our mobile app, the AM560 mobile app. You just tap on the button that says Help Feed Chicago's Hungry Children.
And for you business owners out there, maybe you own a small business, medium-sized business, or if you do the marketing for your company, please listen up. We want you to take part of our Business Benefactor program. Let me try that again. Business Benefactor. With this program, any business that makes a $2,500 tax-deductible donation, all the money goes to Feed the Children. And as a way of saying thank you, we are going to give you 40 60-second commercials. They're going to run Monday through Friday right here on AM 560 from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. You have to call our sales manager, Michael Mann.
So the Business Benefactor program is the same as the Business Benefactor program.
Oh my God. So hard on me. I'm not feeling well today. I'm seeing double. I'm seeing two damn profs. Yeah, call Michael Mann right now.
Yeah.
Call him directly at 847-871-1527. It's a great way to introduce your product to the masses. If you want to take your business to the next level, you need to be a part of this program. Nowhere in Chicagoland radio could you get such a deal as this. $2,500, tax deductible, and we give you 40 one-minute commercials.
That's right. Don't pretend like you don't want your business to be on these airwaves, because you do, and we
Yeah.
know it. So call Michael Mann at 847-871-1527.
Everyone's doing it. Slots are filling up quickly. Meg Schmidt Consulting, Lindholm Roofing, just to name a few.
Is your house on fire, Claw?
No, Bethany, those are Christmas lights.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
So you think a politician can fix Illinois' problems? Me either. That's why I invested and I opened a real estate company in South Florida. Real wealth comes from real estate. I'm Sean Thompson. My company is Liberty Real Estate Services, and it's time to invest in a personal real estate portfolio that will secure your future. With Liberty Real Estate, we'll help you buy those properties, and most importantly, we'll help you manage those properties once they've been acquired. Financial independence can only be achieved when you've broken down the market like I have. Nobody wants to rent your 401k, but many want to rent your house. Real wealth comes from real estate with Liberty Real Estate Services. Call me right now at 630-323-4376. That number again is 630-323-4376, or visit the website at libertyrealestateservices.com for information you'll need to get real financial freedom and control your destiny. 630-323-4376 or libertyrealestateservices.com.
Liberty Real Estate Services, LLC. Illinois license number 481011303. Florida license ID BK3339363.
Take a quick look in the mirror. See those bags under your eyes? Imagine them gone. And guess what? You can get rid of those bags and puffiness under your eyes just in time for the holidays. Introducing Genucell Plant Stem Cell Therapy for bags and puffiness under the eyes. I've been using it. My sister uses it. Her skin looks great. Eyes are firming up. The skin is glowing. Just beautiful. And if you put that with its instant effects, which is a separate product, if you use them together, you will see results in the first 12 hours, guaranteed, or your money back. So order Genucell now, and this holiday season, you'll also get the legendary Esotique Face Cream as a free gift. Call 800-525-8323. That's 800-525-8323. Call now, and express holiday shipping is also free. 800-525-8323. That's 800-525-8323. 8323.
If you or someone you know suffers from diabetes or pre-diabetes, then you know it's a vicious cycle of prescription drugs, weight gain, and decreased energy. But you don't have to live with the symptoms of the disease or the side effects from prescription drugs. Attend a free diabetes dinner seminar with functional medicine practitioner Dr. Walter Doozy. He'll show you how to get to the root of the problem causing your diabetes, not mask it with dangerous medications. You'll learn how to stabilize your blood sugar, lower your risk of high blood pressure, and improve your cholesterol. Dr. Doozy and his team have helped hundreds of patients reduce and even eliminate their need for diabetes medication. Attend the free diabetes dinner seminar Wednesday, December 16th at Restaurant Abruzzo in Deerfield. Register now at drdoozy.com. That's DRDUZEY.com, or call 847-367-4900. Everywhere you go, the threat looms. It follows you no matter what you do. The longer you avoid the IRS and the financial difficulties you're going through, the closer they get to you. John DeWatt of Thinking Outside the Box Law Firm can help you end the feeling of being hunted by the IRS. If you've avoided taxes or could benefit from the life-saving assistance of bankruptcy, it's time you call John DeWatt. This is an attorney who is willing to take on the federal government on your behalf. He has worked to discharge thousands of dollars in penalties, and he can help you settle your debts once and for all. Call 888-777-4193. Let the hunters become the hunted. Let John DeWatt of Thinking Outside the Box Law Firm deal with the IRS personally. Call John for your own relief plan. 888-777-4193 or online at thinkingoutsidetheboxlaw.com. That's thinkingoutsidetheboxlaw.com.
It's been real. It's been nice, but what?
But it hasn't been real nice.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks to David Stripling, our technical director, and Cesar Perez, the executive producer.
Bye.
Shake and bake.
Have a safe and happy weekend. We'll see you back here Monday morning, 5 a.m. Now let's say hello once again to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, the search begins for a new Chicago police superintendent. A verdict in a police commander misconduct case expected by Monday. The Bulls edged the Clippers last night. Sunny skies, WIND. Chicago news time is 9 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Wall Street is awash in red. The opening bell rings in a big